What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
8GC 191. Debut in women's clothing. Sasuke secretly observes and discovers Neji's secret. Advertisement. Time goes back to before the women's clothing Neji came out. Sasuke was watching secretly. In Sasuke's mind, although his biggest goal in the past was to catch up with his elder brother who was praised by his father as a super genius. But during the ninja school, Hyuga Neji, who was a class higher than himself, has always been his short-term goal of catching up. Hyuga Neji, born in the Hyuga clan of the famous Konoha family, has a very powerful blood succession boundary, white eyes, and its insight ability far exceeds that of the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan. And Senior Neji opened his eyes through a lot of training at a young age, and he can use the power of his eyes at will.
Not only that, Senior Neji, as a branch house child, also taught himself the secret ninjutsu of the Hyuga family, 8 trigrams Pons revolving heaven, known as the genius ninja of the Hyuga clan. This gave Neji Senpai the power to surpass Genin early on. If it was during the war, he would have graduated from ninja school long ago, becoming a genius who graduated early like Kakashi. But now students in peacetime have to stay in ninja school for 6 years before they can graduate. That's why Senior Neji and himself, who already possessed the strength of Chunin, had to stay in the school. In the whole ninja school, except for Hyuga Ningo 4 times, he doesn't pay attention to others at all. Among Konoha's peers, the only one who can make him look up to him is Hyuga Neji, who is currently stronger than himself. And graduated as Genin at the age of 3, and learned 2nd Generation Naruto, the shadow of 4th Hokage's signature spacetime ninjutsu Flying Thunder God technique. As the son of the former head of the Konoha Police Department, he can still be regarded as an official 2nd generation, but with the status of Kazumura's 2nd Generation Naruto, he is nothing at all. Naruto is not only stronger than him in status, but also crushes him in strength. He once heard Uchiha Itachi say that Naruto's horror is unimaginable. If Naruto is evil, the entire ninja world will be plunged into darkness.
Sasuke still remembers the awe on Uchiha Itachi's face when he talked about Naruto.
That is the super genius brother who is called Uchiha's twin stars with Shisui. It turned out that he was so afraid and respectful of a child who was several years younger than him. The power of Naruto can be seen in Madara. Therefore, when he saw that his elder brother who wanted to surpass Naruto was so in awe of Naruto, the biggest goal in Sasuke's mind to surpass changed. Since then, Naruto has been rooted in his heart and has become his ultimate goal to surpass. As long as he surpasses Naruto, he must be able to kill Uchiha Itachi. Therefore, seeing that the short-term goal of catching up with Neji Sr. is actually accepting the guidance of the biggest goal Naruto to learn ballet, Sasuke's heart immediately caused an uproar. You actually do special training behind my back? No, I want to learn too, it doesn't matter if it's stealth. In order to become stronger and kill that man, I am willing to pay any price. Although Naruto said it was ballet, Sasuke didn't think it was really a dance, but a move name or a code name. After all, he has seen dances like ballet on TV. Isn't it just an actress dancing on tiptoe in a snow-white pettiskirt? If Neji Senpai spent his time learning this kind of tiptoe dance after school, it is impossible for him to become so strong. Come on, let me see quickly, what nirvana are you guys learning?
Then he saw Naruto coming out, and said to behind him, "You changed your clothes very quickly today, it seems that you are proficient," but there was no sound behind him. Sasuke couldn't help feeling suspicious. What clothes to change? Is Naruto talking to Neji Senpai? There should be no one else here.
But then Sasuke saw that Neji Senpai did not come out, but a beautiful black-haired girl in a snow-white tutu skirt walked out slowly. This is exactly the ballet dress, and it fits this girl very well. Advertisement: the girl's long black hair poured down from behind like a waterfall. And the slender legs stretched out from the snow-white skirt. If some leg control students in the class saw it, they might say something like, "I can play for a year." Noticing that his eyes had actually stayed on the girl's legs for a long time, Sasuke couldn't help but blushed, and immediately explained to himself. It's not that I can't walk when I see a beautiful girl, I'm so stunned, I forget about revenge. It's really that this sister is so beautiful, she is tall, maybe even taller than herself. A pair of long legs are tightly wrapped in white silk. This attire alone is simply not comparable to those relatively well-dressed female students in the school. It's no wonder that I was stunned for a while, and even had a I want revenge, I have no feelings. Falling in love with a girl, how can it be fun to find revenge on that man after becoming stronger? Important. Sasuke kept hinting to himself, and finally suppressed the throbbing in his heart. There is a look in the eyes like an old monk sitting alone, everything is dull. I don't care how beautiful you are, in my mind, it's not as important as the reason why Neji Senpai became stronger in the content of his and Naruto's special training. Thinking of this, Sasuke stopped looking at the black-haired girl, but continued to wait for Neji Senpai to appear. But after waiting for a while, Senior Neji still didn't show up. On the contrary, he felt more and more familiar with this black-haired sister, and felt that he had seen her there before. He finally remembered a scene. One day after class, he was seriously reading and studying. There are classmates around who can't remember the name who had such a conversation. Classmate A. Yeah, do you know about a new photo album recently released in the commercial street? Classmate B holding a puppy. Is there a new, Orochimaru photo album? Doesn't it mean that the 10th edition is already the last edition? Classmate A. It's not the butter photo album of your favorite super sexy big sister. This time, the one who just debuted is a very pure and beautiful young lady named Ningza. Classmate C of 973, who was fat in a ball, leaned over. Shikamaru, you are talking about Ningzi's Life Department photo album. To be honest, I also bought it. This young lady who just debuted under the name of Ningzi is not the kind of painting style in the photo album of Dashiji, who can't afford social security. It is a painting style of a pure and weak young lady next door, which is very refreshing and gives me a feeling of first love. Classmate A nodded. Me too, although I also like the mature big sister of the Yuji family, Big Snake G. But I also really like Miss Ningzi, who just debuted in the pure and weak category. Classmate B was stunned. Shocked. When did such an idol debut in the entertainment circle? I didn't even know it. Alas, if it wasn't for the recent special training with Akamaru, which consumed too much energy, I would definitely know it before Choji and Shikamaru. Recalling this, Sasuke also remembered the names of the 3 passers-by students we talked about before. At the same time, I also remembered that the black-haired girl in a ballet tutu in front of me. Isn't it the newly debuted idol Ningza mentioned by the 3 of Shikamaru? At that time, he accidentally caught a glimpse of the cover of the photo book that Shikamaru secretly took out. Naruto actually met the beautiful girl idol Ningza. And seeing Ningza's obedient appearance, it was Naruto who brought Ningza out. What exactly is going on? By the way, why hasn't my senior Neji come out yet? At this time, Sasuke has already noticed that something is wrong. 192. Peeping discovered. Sasuke. I'm going to be ruined by Naruto. Advertisement. In fact, Sasuke already had a bold idea. Could this Ningza be Neji-senpai? After all, Naruto mentioned before asking Neji-senpai to change clothes. Not long after that, Ningza followed Naruto out, but because the idea is so ridiculous. Sasuke vetoed the idea immediately. Hyuga Neji, the proud genius of the famous Hyuga family of Konoha, how could he do such a shameful thing? Sasuke didn't think that the opponent he regarded as a strong enemy would be so stinky and shameless. After all, if it was him, even if he was forced by Naruto, he would not be able to do such a thing. Senior Neji, as a genius on the same level as himself, naturally couldn't dress up as a woman. B. The next moment, Naruto's words made Sasuke completely confused. Naruto took out a copy of Ninja World Daily and handed it to Neji. The headline report is, the photo album of Ningzi, a new girl idol in the entertainment industry, sold over 1 million copies. At this time, Neji is standing on the toes of one foot, the other leg is bent, his hands are raised, and his body is spinning lightly and gracefully at high speed.
Taking the newspaper, Neji couldn't help asking, what is this?
The voice is very thin and soft, like a girl. This is because Naruto fooled him, and he had to look like a woman in appearance and voice in order to fully appreciate the true meaning of water. Naruto smiled. Neji, congratulations on your debut as an idol in women's clothing, and you made headlines. When Neji saw the photo of himself in a sailor suit that took up half of the headline page, blood flushed on his cheeks from embarrassment. I actually debuted as Ningza? I didn't even know. Sasuke, who hid not far away and observed the eavesdropping secretly. Nani? Why does Naruto call the beautiful girl idol Ningza? Neji? The elegant girl in a ballet tutu, standing on tiptoes, bending her other leg up, her arms outstretched, spinning lightly. Is Neji-senpai disguised as a girl? How can this be? Sasuke couldn't believe it, shook his head, and looked again at the black-haired girl who was dancing ballet on tiptoe. He carefully observed the details, and with the IQ of the first echelon of Konoha's new generation, he conducted in-depth thinking and rigorous reasoning. After spending 5 minutes, he finally came to a conclusion. I must have opened it the wrong way, so he closed his eyes for a few seconds, then reopened his eyes and looked over again. I saw a pair of slender white silk legs spinning lightly, drawing graceful arcs in the air. The pink ballet shoes on the feet are so beautiful and elegant. And the dancer showed a serious expression. I don't know, I thought he was doing something serious. That picture is so beautiful, simply unimaginable. It was indeed a beautiful picture, but considering that the girl is the female costume of Neji-senpai, the rival he has been chasing. Sasuke felt that this picture was too hot for the eyes. At this moment, he finally realized that the rigorous conclusion he had thought about for a long time was wrong. I am not dazzled, and the way I opened it is correct. The mistake is Neji-senpai, Naruto, and this world. Sasuke felt that in the ninja school, he might not be able to look directly at the broken senior Neji again. Things have come to this point. Sasuke no longer wants to find out the reason why Neji suddenly became stronger. He just wants to get out of here quickly now, and Neji Naruto can't be aware that he has discovered their secret. No one knows what Neji-senpai, who is out of his mind to do such a thing, will do to him. So Sasuke, who was squatting, turned around cautiously, trying his best to make the slightest movement, and never dared to disturb the only 2 people in the new generation of Konoha who were stronger than him. But just as he turned around, he found that there was an extra pair of feet in front of him. Sasuke's body froze, and when he looked up, he saw a blond boy with folded arms and a bright smile looking at him. Naruto? Sasuke was so frightened that his words trembled. Advertisement, Naruto said with a smile on his face. Sasuke, come and play. In fact, Naruto found out when Sasuke followed Neji when he first came. But he didn't stop at all, because besides Neji, this training camp will sooner or later recruit other newcomers. I just didn't expect that the second newcomer, Uchiha Sasuke, is also interesting. Play? Sasuke heard this, his heart sank, and he screamed inwardly. It's over. With a super high IQ, Sasuke realized his ending in an instant. Now Naruto will ruin it, sorry to bother you, goodbye. Sasuke blurted out in fright, then threw out a smoke bomb, covered by the white mist, used all his strength, quickly got up and fled towards the village. But after running a few meters, Sasuke saw a figure flashing in front of him. A smiling blonde boy stood in front of him, with his hands behind his back, blocking his way of escape. Sasuke, where are you going? Naruto's voice is still kind, like a greeting between friends. But Sasuke heard an eerie sense of threat. He was not surprised that Naruto was faster than him, after all Naruto had learned the Flying Thunder God technique. It can be said that from the moment he was discovered by Naruto, he was destined to be unable to escape. But he still didn't give up on running away, he still had to try. What if he escaped by luck? My mother asked me to come out to make soy sauce. I just passed by and didn't see anything. Being too scared, Sasuke made up an excuse. God, what a soy sauce. I didn't see anything. Isn't this place without 300 taels of silver? Naruto almost laughed out loud when he heard that. You are here, just come and have fun. This is the training ground I specially opened for Neji, and you are welcome to come and play often. Saying that, Naruto put a hand on Sasuke's shoulder. The other side. Neji, who was seriously dancing the ballet, frowned, and suddenly realized something was wrong. He stopped his graceful dance steps, looked at Naruto, and couldn't help asking. Ms. Naruto, why didn't you take a picture? In the past, every time I changed into women's clothing, didn't you always insist on making various poses for you to shoot? Now I'm dancing. It can be said that there are all kinds of poses you want, but you didn't take pictures. This is not because Neji wants to be photographed, but because he is not used to being ignored by Mr. Naruto. Oh, Naruto looked at Neji playfully. Do you really want me to take photos of all your women's clothing and sell them? I didn't expect that I wanted to take photos of you in women's clothing at the beginning, but you refused in every way. But now if I don't take pictures, you will be in a hurry, Limos. It seems that your body is still very honest and you like to be photographed. Neji blushed instantly. No, I didn't, I just. Okay, stop explaining. Naruto waved his hand, interrupted Neji, and said. Someone just hid in the grass over there and peeped secretly, and discovered the secret of your women's clothing. I'm going to bring him here. Neji was startled when he heard the words. He didn't bother to explain. He quickly lifted his skirt and asked anxiously, who is it? Ri. As he spoke, the figure flashed, and Naruto's shadow clone used the Flying Thunder God technique to capture Sasuke, who was about to escape. Your junior Uchiha Sasuke elder. I saw the junior and competitor Sasuke, Neji, who was suddenly brought over by Naruto, looking at her with a complicated face, looking at her beautiful appearance in women's clothing. Sasuke, Neji. Neji opened his mouth to say something, but didn't say anything. After all, here I am dressed in a tutu skirt and white stockings. All explanations are feeble. 193. Is it because you, Sasuke, are gone, or is it that Neji's women's clothing is not good looking? Advertisement. Before Neji could speak, the quick-witted Sasuke suddenly showed a trace of suspicion, and then pointed at Neji with surprise. Am I not mistaken? Are you the beautiful girl idol ninja that my classmates are talking about now? I didn't expect you to know Naruto. Naruto, you are too. Know such a beautiful young lady, and don't introduce it to us peers. Saying that, Sasuke lightly touched Naruto with his small fist. Naruto looked confused. Are you pretending you didn't recognize Neji? What a lil elf you are, also get close to me. Do I know you well? I saved your mother in Uchiha Genocide Night. Occasionally, when you are in school, I will bring things to your house and take care of Mrs. Makoto. But I have nothing to do with you yet. Neji was taken aback when he heard that. What did Sasuke call me? Ningzi. Didn't Sasuke recognize who I am? This is great. Neji hurriedly replaced Ningzi's character, lowered his head in shame, and whispered. I hate it. What kind of beautiful girl is she, little brother? Your mouth is so sweet. After speaking, he was disgusted himself. God, I actually acted like a baby to my junior? I am so 980 a boy. Gentle fist for women's clothing is a rapid progress, but it has a big side effect, that is, it will affect my psychology. Last time at school, I accidentally squeezed an orchid finger, luckily no one saw it. But now I just want to keep it secret, I don't want Sasuke to notice my real identity. Now Sasuke thinks that I am the new idol ninja, then my words and deeds must conform to the personality of the new girl idol ninja said by Naruto. Pure, soft and shy, etc. Otherwise, if the witty junior Sasuke notices that there is a man behind my women's clothing, then I, Hyuga Neji, will lose my reputation. Sasuke, who already knew Ninja's true identity. You actually act like a spoiled child to me. I thought in my heart that you might be forced by Naruto to wear women's clothing. I didn't expect you to be such a senior, Naruto. Could it be that wearing women's clothing will make people gradually become women psychologically? Or, when Neji is cooperating with Sasuke, the two are performing on the same stage. Neji didn't care whether Sasuke really didn't see his identity or it was fake, he took the opportunity to step down to avoid embarrassment. He has decided that no matter how disgusting he is, he must play the role of Ningzi well and never let Sasuke discover any abnormalities. About my women's clothing, only Naruto and I know, and there must be no third person to know. Thinking of this, Neji endured the shame again, released a pure and soft smile at Sasuke with a good face, and asked in a soft voice. I didn't expect that even your classmates knew about it, tell me quickly, who is there? Sasuke tried his best to maintain a normal boy's excited expression when he saw his idol, saying. Many people in our class bought your photo book, and Shikamaru recommended it to Choji and Kiba. Shikamaru, Choji, Tooth? Neji froze for a moment. Advertisement, isn't this the descendant of the two famous families of Konoha, the Kabuto family and the animal taming family Inuzuka family? It can be said that they are some of the most outstanding people of our generation. It turned out that my peers not only bought my photo book, me in class? Why am I not only not ashamed and angry, but also a little excited? Unexpectedly, as long as I only need women's clothing, I can't resist the charm even Xiaoqiang among my peers. How do you feel so proud? Hit by another coquettish attack by Neji, the little actor Sasuke suffered tons of disgusting injuries and almost broke his success. He took a deep breath, brewed a good mood, and said again. Then what, Miss Ningzi, I still have to make soy sauce, so I won't disturb your filming. As he said that, he looked at Naruto, as if he was asking for his opinion. Can I go? Just go without asking Naruto's opinion? As if Sasuke dares. Neji nodded too. Then you go. Aej, in front of Naruto, continue to talk to you in a woman's tone, it's too embarrassing. Let's end it now. But Naruto didn't say a word yet, saying he could go. Sasuke didn't dare to move. Now in Konoha, no one can run faster than Naruto, who has mastered the flying thunder god technique. Even if Naruto lets him run 40 meters first, he still can't escape. Where to go? Naruto would like to let the almost cooked duck fly away, he turned his face horizontally. It's you Sasuke who floated away, or is it Neji's women's clothing that doesn't look good? As soon as these words came out, the surrounding atmosphere suddenly became weird. The scene was very embarrassing for a time. Originally, Neji Sasuke and Sasuke competed with each other's acting skills and pretended to be deaf and dumb, which almost covered up the matter of Neji's women's clothing. This is good for everyone, but Naruto's words completely broke the previous efforts of Neji Sasuke and others. Huh? Sasuke was still pretending not to reveal that he had discovered the secret of Neji's women's clothing. Naruto, what are you talking about? What is there here, Neji-senpai? Right, Sister Ningza. As he spoke, he looked around, but found nothing. But in the end, because I got used to it before, I almost called out Neji-senpai. As soon as Neji heard Naruto speak, he thought to himself. A pig teammate with god-level strength wants to buy him, who can resist it? Originally, he stood on tiptoe, raised his slender white hand to cover Naruto's mouth, and at the same time shouted no, trying to stop Naruto from continuing to speak. But Naruto wanted to speak, but no one in the current ninja world can stop him. Seeing that Sasuke clearly heard Naruto pointing at him and said that Neji was wearing women's clothing, he was still pretending not to recognize himself, and Neji was not stupid, but even realized that this elementary schoolboy probably knew his true identity a long time ago. Thinking of how he acted coquettishly to Sasuke in order to hide his identity, Neji's face suddenly darkened, and he stared at Sasuke firmly. Sasuke was terrified at the sight. Although he shouted all day long to take revenge and kill that man, he was still a child who hadn't even graduated from ninja school, so he trembled and said. I don't see anything, I don't know anything, I won't say anything. Sasuke discovered women's clothing, and Neji felt ashamed to secretly go to the sea to shoot a film, but was hit by a classmate on the set. His heart was almost broken, and he quickly looked at the backbone of his heart. Naruto, what should we do now? Sasuke also looked at Naruto in fright. You. What do you want to do to me? Naruto smiled slightly, but in Sasuke's eyes, it was particularly eerie. Since Sasuke found out about Neji's women's clothing, there is no other way, just shut up. Nani? Sasuke's pupils constricted sharply, almost peeing in fear. 194. Mrs. Makoto. When did I have a daughter? Advertisement. Hearing Naruto's instructions, Neji, who was flushed, turned around, staring at Sasuke with feminine eyes. Being stared at by such a new generation of beautiful girl idol wearing a white silk tutu with a pair of soft-colored contact lenses, if it was another boy, I am afraid that I would have been very excited. But Sasuke's heart didn't fluctuate, and he even wanted to cry a little. Ning. Senior Neji, don't you really want to listen to Naruto, kill me? Sasuke was really about to cry. Neji shook his head and sighed. If you want to blame it, blame you for seeing something you shouldn't see. I must never let a third person know about my women's clothing. Senior Neji, listen to me, I will never say it, I don't have any friends at school, and I rarely talk Sasuke waved his hands and made a final explanation, but Neji grabbed his neck with a cross lock on the spot and pressed him to the ground. Of course, this is also because Sasuke knew that he would never be able to beat Naruto and Neji, so he didn't fight back. Otherwise, he could have lasted at least 10 seconds. Senior Neji, take it easy, you hurt me, Sasuke yelled in pain. Neji ignored him, but looked at Naruto, the backbone, and asked again. Ms. Naruto, what should I do now? I can't really kill him. Naruto swung his right hand. Wait a second, you keep this posture first, don't move. As he said that, Naruto took out the camera, clicked, changed various angles, and took a picture of a strong man in a tutu with Neji and Sasuke as the protagonists. At this time, Neji, dressed as a beautiful girl, was sitting on Sasuke's waist, pressing him tightly. This picture looks really dirty. Neji also realized that his current posture was a bit wrong, but in order to prevent Sasuke, who was not much weaker than himself, from escaping, he had no choice but to continue to press. But Sasuke has a complex expression of pain and happiness. Being pinned to the ground by the chokehold of the senior, it hurts a lot. But the senior now looks like a young and beautiful girl, and there is still a faint fragrance on his body. Sasuke smelled it, and couldn't help being dazed, and a blush appeared on his face. After shooting the 18 angles of the picture of the strong male, Naruto took a few steps closer and looked down at Sasuke, who was lying on the ground. Choose, Uchiha Sasuke, choose one, be silenced, from now on all goals are empty talk. Option 2, let me use physical amnestics to erase your relevant memories, the consequence is that you may be beaten as a fool. Choose 3, since you broke the secret of Neji's women's clothing, you can only join this secret, let's dress as women with Neji.
Hearing this, Sasuke thought to himself, it's finally here.
The moment he was discovered by Naruto, Sasuke was already mentally prepared to be spoiled by Naruto. After a moment of silence, Sasuke blushed and said, I choose 3. Naruto smiled. Congratulations, you made the best choice. A few minutes later, there is another black-haired girl in a cheongsam on the Naruto training ground. The extremely slit hem perfectly shows off her pair of slender and clean thighs. Advertisement: the traditional G hair and black wooden bun bring a noble and glamorous temperament to the girl. She is Sasuke's women's dress. Sasuke, crack. Show your thighs a little bit, and raise them higher, you're a man, it's okay to show some flesh.
Naruto picked up the camera and took 3 consecutive shots. He glanced at it and expressed his satisfaction. Then he asked Sasuke to change various poses and took pictures over and over again. He just got together some materials for the cheongsam in Sasuke photo album number 1 inch. Look, Sasuke, if you talk nonsense afterwards, Neji will bring your women's clothing photos to your house the next day and give them to Aunt Makoto. How do you think Mrs. Makoto will feel when she sees these photos? I thought it was great, and said, which family's girl is this? Sasuke and our family look very husband and wife. I still recognized it at the first sight, but I was very confused. Hey, when did I give birth to a daughter? I remember that my second child is a child. Neji, Naruto-sensei, are you a devil? 0. Ask for flowers. Fortunately, I was obedient at the time and was not persecuted in this way. Sasuke was forced to wear the cheongsam worn by Shido's bodyguards, and was asked to pose in various poses for pictures, but he was almost at the end of his mind. Finally, I heard Naruto say to show these super shameful photos to his mother. Sasuke was so frightened that he hugged Naruto's thigh and begged not to do that. Seeing all kinds of aloof Sasuke hugging his legs and pleading in the original book, Naruto just felt dull. Pay attention to your high cold personality, don't collapse. Let's go back today, you and Neji will come together after school tomorrow, and it's time for your photo book to be shot. If you don't come, you know. For the character design of Sasuke women's clothing, Naruto has already positioned itself. Mainly glamorous, noble and famous beauties. It is in line with Sasuke's identity as a descendant of the first Konoha family. The next day Sasuke and Neji came. Naruto asked Sasuke to change into the various uniforms that Neji had used for filming, such as sailor uniforms, maiden uniforms, nurse uniforms, etc., and completed the shooting of the material for the cold, noble and beautiful girl Sasuke photo album 1 on the same day, and then he directly outsourced these materials, make them into books, and sell them. It's time for the second girl idol of Konoha Idol to make her debut. One day, when Sasuke came home, he found that there was an extra photo book of himself on the table, and he was shocked immediately. Mom, this thing, where did you come from? Could it be that I said no, but Naruto forced it to me, and then I hid the photo book under the hiroki, and my mother found it? Mrs. Makoto came out from the kitchen with the dishes, seeing her son's panicked look, she couldn't help laughing and said. You mean that, I cleaned it for you and found it in your room. It's all my fault that I didn't notice that Sasuke in our family has grown up and started to be interested in girls. Sasuke quickly shook his head in denial. No, I didn't, Mom, you misunderstood, it was. That's my women's clothing photo book. How could he say such words? 195. Sasuke. Naruto, I treat you like a brother, but you want to FK my mother. Advertisement. Mrs. Makoto patted Sasuke's head and said softly. Sasuke, you don't have to lie to Mom. Even if you are interested in girls, it's a very normal thing. Quote. Sasuke hesitated to speak. He hated Naruto in his heart now. At first, when Naruto offered me a photo book of women's clothing, I refused. At that time, I said no, but Naruto insisted on giving it to me. I really can't help it, the handle of shame is in his hands, and I can't beat it again and again, so I have to reluctantly accept it. Since I accepted it, and Naruto said that my women's clothing photo book sold very well, not worse than Neji-senpai's. I was curious for a while, it was not what I wanted to see at all, but just wanted to verify what Naruto said, so I opened my own photo album to see. I haven't seen 020 too many times, maybe 180 times. Unexpectedly, I watched it too late last night and didn't hide it well, so my mother found it. Also misunderstood by her, I am interested in my own image of women's clothing. This is so shameful and ridiculous. I'm destined to be a killer without emotion, the goal is to kill that man, how can I have the time to fall in love? In the end, Sasuke didn't have the courage to tell his mother the truth, but ate in silence. Mrs. Makoto suddenly asked as if thinking of something. By the way, Sasuke, what kind of girl is this? She looks so pretty, I've never seen her before. If you like it, I can talk about it for you later, and see if you can order a doll kiss. Hearing this, Sasuke had something to say in his heart. Engage me to my own couture image. Mom, are you serious? Why did things turn out like this? Hateful. Boom. There is a knock on the door. Makoto hurriedly put down his chopsticks, tidied up his makeup, and carefully asked. Sasuke, I don't look weird right now. Seeing his mother's appearance, Sasuke turned his face and hummed. Mom, if you care so much about whether you look good, is it that man outside again? Ever since the Uchiha genocide, a blonde bearded man has been haunting their home. I heard from my mother that this man named Mingo had rescued her on the night of the genocide. As a result, my mother is now with this man, and I am afraid that this man will become her stepdad in a short time. However, if he dares to touch my mother, I will chop off 3 of his legs. Makoto glared at his son. What is that man? You should call him Uncle Mingo. Your father led his people to rebel and was completely wiped out by your brother. We are the only mother left, orphans and widows, if your Uncle Mingo hadn't taken care of you these days, how would you live? Sasuke snorted again. He still covets your beauty, Mom. A beautiful woman like you, Mother, would a normal man not like it? When Makoto heard this, there was a little joy on his face. Really, but I don't think he has much interest in me. Without waiting for Sasuke's reply, Makoto hurried to open the door. You're here. Makoto couldn't hide the excitement on his face. I'll come and see you too. Advertisement. Naruto nodded and walked into Sasuke's house. This image of a bearded middle-aged man was used by him to save Makoto on the night of the Uchiha genocide. The identity is an investor of the Naruto Chamber of Commerce in Konoha. Although he is a bit older, he is very rich and has opened several shops in Konoha Commercial Street. The reason why he used this identity to save Makoto and get close to Makoto afterwards is also to get close to Sasuke and observe his growth. After all, Sasuke, the second pillar, is Hokage's second leading actor. Only by training such an important role can the maximum degree of distortion be obtained. But Sasuke seems to have misunderstood something. I thought I was coveting the beauty of his mother, Makoto, and wanted to have G come here often. But my real target is Sasuke you. We were just having lunch, have you eaten? If not, let's go together. Makoto quickly beckoned Naruto to sit down, then winked at Sasuke and told him to call him uncle. Sasuke had no choice but to shout, Uncle Mingo. Shouting is shouting, but reluctance is written on his face. Makoto hurriedly apologized to his son. I'm really sorry, since his father left, this kid has some personality problems. It doesn't matter. Naruto waved his hand. Children, the future is very malleable. As long as you find a good teacher and teach them well, you will be successful. He knows why Sasuke is like this. One is mistakenly thinking that he wants to FK his mother. The second is that as a brother-in-law, he was severely stimulated by his brother Itachi, and he was full of hatred for the world. Makoto nodded straight, with an expression that made sense of what you said. But Sasuke couldn't stand his mother's appearance as a mentally handicapped little girl, and was about to leave after eating in 2 or 3 seconds. I don't want to see my mother flirting with this bearded man at the dinner table anymore. Just then, something in his arms fell to the ground. It was the photo book he secretly stuffed into his arms while his mother was opening the door. Huh, what's that? Naruto pointed his hand and asked knowingly. He was a little surprised. Unexpectedly, Sasuke said no, but his body is so honest. I actually carry my photo book with me. Ah, Sasuke found his photo book dropped on the floor, and was seen by that nasty bearded man. Quickly picked it up, put it away, and ran back to the room with a blushing face, slammed the door, covered his face in the pillow and howled, what a shame. Makoto explained with some embarrassment. That is said to be a photo collection of a girl idol who just debuted in Konoha 1.2. I don't know which girl it is, but she's quite pretty. My family Sasuke is quite obsessed with this girl recently. I found out more than once that he was secretly looking at the girl's photo alone at night. If possible, I really want to match the two of them, because I think they are quite a couple. Which girl? Naruto had a strange expression on his face. Mrs. Makoto, you may not believe it, but the newly debuted Konoha pretty girl idol Seiko belongs to your family. Hearing Makoto say that Sasuke still peeked at his photo album at night, and wanted to match Sasuke with his beautiful girl idol Seiko who was dressed as a woman. Naruto almost laughed out loud. Wife, on the show Operation, I, Naruto, would like to call you the strongest at this moment. 196. Sasuke. Classmate, do you want a photo book? Neji Sasuke Women's Clothing Photo Book PK. Advertisement. Although under the threat of Naruto and Neji, Sasuke made a photo book with half push. But he doesn't believe Naruto's nonsense that a suit of women's clothes will make him stronger. But he saw with his own eyes that Senior Neji's strength was indeed improving rapidly when he was training in women's clothing, and he was hesitant. Naruto took pictures of Sasuke's women's clothing, and after getting the handle to threaten Sasuke, he stopped forcing Sasuke to wear women's clothing. In his words, I never force others to do things I don't want to do. Since you, Sasuke, refuse to dress up as women, I will never force you in the future. However, I believe that sooner or later you will obey me and obediently wear women's clothing. So it's better to give up struggling earlier. At that time, Sasuke's reply was, don't fool me like Neji's senior, I believe you. If it wasn't for your compulsion, I wouldn't know how to wear women's clothes before. Although he replied firmly to Naruto at the time, Naruto also said that he would never force himself. But watching Ning's 04th senior training in women's clothing every day, the gap between himself and him is getting bigger and bigger. Sasuke felt anxious. No matter how hard he tried, how much he gritted his teeth and practiced violently, the time it took for Senior Neji to defeat him became shorter and shorter. Sasuke understands that if he continues to be so reserved and refuses to dress up as a woman, he will become a vulnerable fish in front of Neji Senior one day. So this day after school, he came to the training ground, found Naruto, turned his head, and asked with a blushing face. Naruto, women's clothing, can you really become stronger? If it is true, if you ask me to wear women's clothes again, I can't help but accept it with difficulty. Quote. Naruto knows that Sasuke, who has passed down Uchiha from his ancestors, can ask such textbook arrogant words, which shows that he has completely obeyed himself in his heart. As long as you want, you can put Sasuke in 8 poses. But Naruto shook his head coldly. Before I taught you to wear women's clothing to become stronger, but you ignored me, all kinds of disbelief. Now you are licking your face and running over to think about women's clothing, do you think I will help you with makeup? You are beautiful, but don't think too much about it. As I said earlier, I won't force you to install it. You wear, or don't wear. Women's clothing in every style is there, no more, no less. Quote. After speaking, Naruto turned and left to find Neji who was still practicing the ballet gentle fist method which is a fusion of ballet and gentle fist. Sasuke was left alone to look at himself. Sasuke was surprised. Naruto actually abandoned himself and went to find Neji. I thought Naruto was just here to have fun seeing his shameful appearance in women's clothing, but I didn't expect that Naruto didn't want to have it delivered to my door. Alas, if I knew I wasn't so reserved back then, I would have obediently listened to Naruto's mercy. Sasuke is very regretful, but then he remembered what Naruto said when he left at the end. You wear it, or you don't wear it, there are all kinds of women's clothing there, no more, no less. Is this implying me something? Sasuke seemed to understand something. Then he took a sailor suit, ran into the room, changed into it, and came out asking. Naruto, Neji-senpai, do you think I'm beautiful? Keep your toes up, and your A too. Naruto was directing Neji's ballet movements, but when he heard Sasuke's triumphant voice, he couldn't help turning around to look, dumbfounded. Then he showed a caring smile to Sasuke. Advertisement. When Neji saw it, he also looked confused. Although there are all kinds of cosmetics in the dressing room, but because Sasuke doesn't know how to make up, he applied it like a coquettish BCH. He still thinks he is beautiful. Seeing that Naruto didn't help, Sasuke managed to put on a women's dress himself, and even dressed himself so G hard that he couldn't recognize him, so he was so P***D. In the end, Naruto's weird smile made his scalp tingle, and he couldn't help muttering. Am I not pretty? Are you blind? Naruto shook his head helplessly. Is it good to see? Don't you have a score in your heart? Please, next time you do your own makeup, look in the mirror first, lest you come out and frighten the children. No way, Naruto had to do makeup for Sasuke. To be honest, he really didn't want to train Sasuke to become a master of women's clothing. After all, he only has one skill book, Yansheng, that can really make you stronger after training. Konoha Shaoqiang, it is enough to have a Neji as a master of women's clothing. The painting styles of other people should be different. In the beginning, I asked Sasuke women's clothing to be photographed, and it was just to satisfy my bad taste. He intends to fool Sasuke who can betray the village and his friends for the sake of strength, and if he does good deeds, he will become stronger. He was trained to be good at talking and escape, and he wanted to be the successor of Hokage's Will of Fire. That is, the template and painting style of the original author. This is very different from the painting style of the original Sasuke, so that the characters are highly distorted. But since he wants to wear women's clothes so much, and his appearance in women's clothes is so hot. In order to protect his eyes, he had to help Sasuke make up. Finally, he patted the beautifully dressed Sasuke, held back his laughter, and Yan Wei said. Sasuke, I can see your determination to become stronger. You have also seen how quickly 113 Neji's strength has improved under my training. In this way, I will give you a test. You and Neji have a women's clothing PK, compare the weekly cumulative sales of the second photo book. If you can beat Neji, then I'll help you upgrade Sharingan. And Neji, if you can defeat Sasuke, I'll give you a supercilious look. Quote. Hearing this, Sasuke and Neji looked at each other with fighting intent in their eyes. As for Naruto mastering the method of quickly upgrading Sharingan, Sasuke has actually heard from Sister Kwan. But Sister Kwan promised Naruto that she would keep it secret, so she couldn't tell him. In order to get a quick way to upgrade Sharingan from Naruto, this is the real purpose of joining Naruto training camp. The so-called women's clothing is nothing more than a last resort sacrifice in order to achieve this goal. And now, he finally saw hope. As long as the sales volume of the next women's clothing photo book exceeds that of Neji-senpai, it will be fine, right? It's so easy. Unlike Neji, who is busy graduating from ninja school, he has more free time at school. So from this day on, Konoha Shinobi's school has a beautiful black-haired boy who goes around Amway and sells the photo album of the new beautiful girl idol Seiko. Student, do you want a photo book? 197. Naruto. Ma'am, please respect yourself. Makoto. Do you still call her wife? Call me Makoto. Advertisement. That man, Konoha Renin Uchiha Itachi slaughtered my entire family and killed my father. He used to be the object of my admiration, but now he is the person I most want to kill in this world. And he opened the Mangekyo Sharingan. Even if you look at the entire Konoha and even the entire ninja world, its strength is rare. I am far from his opponent. In order to become stronger, in order to kill that man, I am willing to pay any price. In the Konoha Shinobi school office, Sasuke said seriously. Sasuke's class teacher Iruka listened, with a dull face, put his hands on his forehead, saw Sasuke and his parents sitting opposite, and couldn't help saying. This is why you have been selling S*X photo albums to your classmates in the past 2 days. Some people use force to coerce them instead of buying them, and even why do you still ask girls for such things? Mrs. Makoto, you heard that too, that's why I called you to school. Sasuke did something like this, I have to talk to his parents. Quote. Makoto didn't even know what expression to make. I'm so stupid, really. Makoto raised her dumbfounded eyes and continued. I just know that Sasuke likes Konoha's newly debuted beautiful girl idol Seiko, and even bought her photo album for a sneak peek at night. But I didn't know he liked it so much. A few days ago, I discovered Sasuke's photo book hidden in Hiroki, and I didn't blame him. I just feel that this child has grown up, and I just advise him to pay attention to his body, don't let other children know, and then let him go. Sasuke is very obedient and listens to every word I say. He went out to school today, so I was washing clothes in the house, and after washing the clothes, I planned to make delicious nourishment for Sasuke. But I didn't expect you to come to his homeroom teacher, saying that Sasuke had done bad things at school and asked parents to go to school. I thought Sasuke was just fighting with other hazes, but I didn't expect him to. 41. Then Makoto whimpered, unable to form a sentence. Upon receiving the news, Naruto, who came here in the image of a bearded middle-aged man, patted Makoto's pink back and comforted him. Ma'am, I'm here, don't worry, I'll help you with this matter, Sasuke is fine. When his back was touched, Makoto trembled slightly, blushing and answered him with a submissive, then lowered his head. Iruka asked again with a strange face. No, I called Sasuke's parents, why did you come with me? By the way, who are you? When Makoto heard this, he raised his head and was about to explain with a blushing face when Sasuke snorted. He just wants to FK my mother's pervert, Mr. Iruka, leave him alone. My business has nothing to do with him. Wherever you come from, go back there. Saying that, Sasuke gave the bearded man version of Naruto a hard look. It's shameful enough to be caught by the teacher on the spot while promoting one's photo book at school, and to be called a parent. I didn't expect to be seen by this stinky man who coveted his mother's beauty. This made him even more annoyed. Makoto hit Sasuke lightly. This kid, why are you talking to your Uncle Mingo? Apologize to Uncle, how can it not matter? Advertisement. Naruto couldn't help but said. The fundamental reason why you are now being called a parent is that I let you and Neji use the second volume of women's clothing photo book to compete. Based on the relationship between me and you, your mother, your affairs are my affairs. Don't worry, I will use my relationship to help you settle this matter. Quote. Having said that, he looked at Iruka and said, I am Uncle Sasuke, the vice president of the Naruto Chamber of Commerce and the person in charge of Konoha. I have already contacted your principal, he will be here soon. Quote. Naruto Chamber of Commerce vice president. When Iruka heard this, his pupils shrank sharply. He has heard of the Naruto Chamber of Commerce, which was born out of Ninja World a few years ago, and quickly rose to become the largest economy in the Ninja World, a super consortium with unfathomable financial and military power. The status of the chairman of the Naruto Chamber of Commerce is comparable to that of a famous Jin country. This is not something a small village chief can compare. Even the vice chairman of the Naruto Chamber of Commerce has the same status as the shadow of a village. The rapid development of the Konoha economy in recent years is inseparable from the investment of the Naruto Chamber of Commerce. Even if his immediate boss, the principal, came, he would not dare to say a word in front of this bearded man. Knowing that Mingo, the vice president of Naruto Chamber of Commerce, came to the school. Ying Jonan's ninja school principal arrived soon, fawning and fawning. When I learned from Aruka that the cause of the incident was just such a trivial matter as a school student selling a photo book sold by the Naruto Shokai at school. The principal stated on the spot that tomorrow he would call on all the students in the school to go out of the campus to do social practice, distribute leaflets everywhere in the village, and help the Naruto Chamber of Commerce to promote Sasuke's cool, noble and beautiful girl Seiko photo book volume 2. Naruto waved his hand and said no, just forgive Sasuke and don't pursue the matter of his classmate Amway's photo book this time. The principal was shocked that the exterminated Uchiha clan actually hugged the thick thigh of the vice president of the Naruto Chamber of Commerce. I couldn't help but look at the beautiful Mrs. Makoto, feeling that Sasuke is so lucky to have a good-looking mother. Otherwise, if he did such a thing in school, his graduation would probably be a problem. In the end, the principal said that Sasuke's matter was nothing serious at all, and a verbal money is good warning would do. Makoto breathed a sigh of relief. It feels good to have someone to rely on. Naruto takes Makoto home. Backquote. Thank you, I really don't know how to repay you. Makoto glanced at Naruto, as if hinting at something, then lowered his head. Naruto. Ma'am, I'm just a child, a few months younger than your son. Makoto gave Naruto a blank look. Still calling me Mrs. Call me Makoto. Naruto. Damn Za, I just want to get close to Sasuke, I didn't tease you. How do you feel that your favorability for me has risen to a level that can be pushed? Isn't this a crime? Ma'am, please respect yourself. If you do this again, I will call your eldest son Itachi back. 198. Tiantian. Boys are flirting, it's really nothing to do with us girls. Advertisement. The other side, Sasuke said with emotion, he didn't expect this man to have such a high status in school. This strengthened his determination to become stronger. As long as he becomes stronger, getting money is just a matter of effort, and he can also snatch his mother back from that man's arms. Sasuke came out of the office and met Neji, who was called to the office as an outstanding graduate together with Lee and Tiantian. Neji glanced at Sasuke, and said jokingly, I didn't expect you to look like a cold brother in school, and you would do such a thing. But even so, you will not be my opponent. Quote, although I don't know how Naruto can upgrade his eyes, but the sixth sense he has developed since women's clothing tells him that this time will be the greatest opportunity in his life. If he seizes this opportunity, his strength will undergo an earth-shaking change. Therefore, in the photo book shooting of the second volume, he resorted to a killer trick. This is a secret he discovered only after watching the Mist Shinobi beauty pageant. That is, the final winners all have one thing in common, that is, Unda University. Therefore, for the women's clothing shooting of the second volume, he stuffed 2 papayas into his clothes. In terms of sales, you, Sasuke, are definitely no match for mine. Because, this is a crazy world. I look about the same as you in women's clothing. And mine is bigger than yours, so you're doomed. Hearing Neji's ridicule, Sasuke went straight to him. Just wait, I will definitely not lose to you this time. He's not talking nonsense. Unlike the last time I was forced to take pictures passively. This time, with the determination to win 680, he voluntarily complied with Naruto's arrangement, because he took women's clothing photos. In private, he also earnestly studied the art of women's clothing, and learned a lot of self-portrait and cute skills of girls through various methods. I even bought a lot of beauty magazines to study, and was almost discovered by my mother several times. And in the past 2 days, he has been looking for his classmates everywhere in the school to Amway the second volume of his women's clothing photo album. Regardless of whether it is a junior, a senior or a classmate at the same time, as long as he appears on campus, he will open the body flicker technique and suddenly appear in front of them, grab them, and ask if they want a photo album. Even though Mensao was embarrassed to ask for it, he bought them all under his physical persuasion. So in terms of sales, you can't beat me. Sasuke publicly declares war on Hyuga Neji at school, which gets the attention of the whole school. They all wanted to know the result of the duel between these two geniuses. But they didn't know that the form of the duel between these two male gods, who are called schoolgirls in the girl circle, was actually to shoot a photo album of women's clothing to compare sales. Time passed day by day. Finally, 6 days have passed, and there is only 1 day left in a week. On this day, Neji and Sasuke came to the training ground as soon as school was over. They found Naruto and asked them about their sales. They learned that the sales of Neji's photo book were crushing Sasuke. Sasuke was dumbfounded, with an unbelievable expression on his face. AEEC. How did this happen? Obviously I was serious about shooting this time, but I still held back my shyness to learn how girls take cute selfies. What kind of cool style, cute style, etc. I have all kinds of painting styles that boys like. Why is there such a big difference in sales between the two of us? Naruto patted Sasuke on the shoulder. Have you read Neji's photo book? If you have, you will know why. Sasuke shook his head. Naruto took out a photo book of Neji and handed it to him. With curiosity, Sasuke took Neji's photo book, opened it, and was taken aback. Senior Neji, how could your place be so big? Did you use the transformation technique, or something else? Isn't this a fraud? It turns out that the girls played by Neji in female costumes in the photo set all have a pair of big dumplings. Originally, the two women's costumes were photographed, and both of them acted in their true colors, not transformation technique, but because Naruto's makeup skills are too evil, so they can dress up as girls that others can't see. Since she is playing the role in her true colors, all the girls who play the role are naturally disrespectful to A. But this time, Neji's photo album is actually full of photos with hot bodies. Advertisement. Neji shook his head, looking at Sasuke with sympathy. You are too naive. Regardless of whether you are glamorous and noble, or cute and cute, you are no match for Shongshin. You don't understand such a simple truth. How dare you compete with me in women's clothing? Who gave you confidence? The overall situation has been decided. The winner of this women's clothing photo album PK is me. Sasuke cried. I have endured shame and done shameful things. But why did things turn out like this? Suddenly there was a strange noise not far away. Who is it? Sasuke and Neji looked over at the same time. Come out. Otherwise. In the grass, Tien walked out. She rubbed her head, looking embarrassed. Then what? I just want to find a place where no one is around, and practice ninja tools. I'm sorry to bother you. I'm leaving now. I heard nothing of what you said. After finishing speaking, Tien turned around and fled. But before she ran a few steps, she saw Neji in a ballet tutu and Sasuke in a priestess costume standing in front of her. Even if you didn't hear anything, you have seen our women's clothes. Yes, so, we absolutely can't just let you go back like this. Day by day, today really opened the door to the new world. Originally, she really came out to train, but she happened to come to such a training ground, and found two girls who were too beautiful to be arguing. The first moment I saw the looks of these two girls, Tien was very surprised. Because she knows these two people, isn't it the beautiful girl idol Ningzi and Seiko who are very popular in Konoha recently? The male students in the class talked about their newly released photo albums every day, and they fought each other for the idols they supported, which made her tired of hearing it. It is said that the two of them also wrote in their photo books that they would compete with each other to compare sales, calling on fans not to buy each other's photo books. I was even more surprised when I saw Naruto was there every day. Naruto-kun actually knows these two beautiful girl idols, and it seems that the relationship is still very unusual. This made her a little bit tasteful. To be honest, among Konoha boys, she thinks the most handsome is 4th Hokage's son Naruto-kun. With brilliant blonde hair and a handsome face that always has a warm smile. Talented, graduated as genin at the age of 3, and also mastered the top ninjutsu Flying Thunder God technique. Parents at home say that Naruto is undoubtedly the leader of Konoha's new generation, and anyone who can marry him must be happy. Unexpectedly, Naruto also knew such two handsome, rich and popular girl idols, so how could he think of himself? Regarding the charm of the two beautiful girls Zuozi and Ningzi, even Tien, who considers himself a little beauty, feels a little ashamed. After all, Naruto's makeup skills can make an old lady into a cute loli. Now it is very simple to just make up two young and handsome boys into peerless beautiful girls. Tien was a little sad, but still wanted to know what they were talking about with Naruto. So he sneaked closer and listened carefully. They were actually discussing the sales of photo books. But as he listened, Tien's expression changed, and he looked dull. Through the overheard conversation between the three of Naruto, Tien discovered a shocking truth. The beautiful girl idols Ningzi and Sasuke, who are popular in the boys' circle of ninja school, are actually played by classmates Neji and Junior Sasuke in female costumes. The beautiful girl idol who looks prettier than us is actually a boy behind his back. Together with Hinata, small Sakura, Ino, and Xianglin, known as the five beauties of Konoha's new generation, Tien couldn't help complaining in his heart. It's really nothing to do with our girls when the boys start to flirt. 199. Itachi accidentally saw Sasuke's women's clothing photo album, and then. Advertisement. Okay. Stop fighting, you two. Just as Neji and Sasuke, who were caught by a female classmate because of the women's clothing group photo album, were so ashamed and angry that they wanted to learn Earth style, they planned to join hands to catch Tien who was about to escape. Naruto appeared in front of the three. Naruto-kun, save me. Tien took the opportunity to run behind Naruto, and pinch the corner of Naruto's clothes with a look of fear. In fact, she wasn't too scared. After all, she just found out about Neji and Sasuke's women's clothing. It's not a big deal. What can they do to herself? So instead, she fell into the role of a little girl in seconds, and took the opportunity to get close to the male god. Seeing Naruto coming, Tien hid behind Naruto. Neji and Sasuke didn't dare to be presumptuous, so they had to ask. What about Naruto? If we leave it alone, Konoha will probably spread the news about our women's clothing tomorrow, so where will we put our faces? Tien poked his head out from behind Naruto, stuck out his tongue, and replied. I'm too lazy to talk about your dirty things. Just a little bit. It's good to have a male god in front of you. You can be naughty without any restraint. Neji looked helpless. He didn't expect Tien 04, who was selected as an outstanding graduate of this year, to have such a mischievous side. Seeing that Sasuke was so hot that he couldn't help rushing up, Naruto raised his hand, and Sasuke stepped back on the spot. Naruto smiled. For Tien, who came here secretly, as a local owner, he had already discovered it. After all, this field, ordered by him to be a training camp, was prepared for Konoha's Xiaoqiang. Those small powerhouses will be arranged here sooner or later, and he will teach them, none of them can escape. It is also an accident to find this every day. Although Naruto had discovered her a long time ago, he didn't stop her, but let her approach, peep, and eavesdrop, just to attract another newcomer. If it's someone other than Xiaoqiang, even if you have cage-level strength, you can't get close to this training camp for 10 miles. Naruto gently pulled away Tien, who had been holding on to his clothes tightly, and said. Neji, Sasuke is right, since you found out about their women's clothing photo album, you can't just let you go. Tien pretends to be pitiful. Then what should I do? Do you want me to take pictures in men's clothing? Or do you want me to leave a shameful photo? At the end, Tien was already blushing. Shy photos. Naruto was about to shake his head, saying where do you want to go? As a result, Tien immediately blushed and lowered his head, saying. If it's Naruto and you take the photo, and the photo is only for you to see, then it's not impossible for me to agree. Neji, is this really the goddess Tien in the minds of many boys in ninja school? In front of Naruto, she was so active. But it's no wonder. I heard that Naruto is very strong before. I just studied with him for a while these days, and my strength has skyrocketed. At the same time, I have a deeper understanding of Naruto's horror. Issa, as long as you have a body that doesn't matter. Who gave you the confidence to let me take shy photos of you? If you don't tell me, you may not know that the last woman I personally took a picture of was named Orochimaru, and her figure was so hot that it was outrageous. Naruto shook his head directly. No, you misunderstood, I didn't intend to do that kind of thing to you. I just want to ask you, are you interested in joining me in this training camp? I can guide you to become stronger. Neji was originally only at the genin level of combat strength, but now it's no trouble to fight a chunin. This is the result of listening to my words and being taught by me. Quote. Really? Tien's eyes lit up. To be honest, she had seen Neji's strength during the graduation exam, and she actually defeated Teacher Chunin, but it seemed that she hadn't used her full strength yet. I didn't expect it to be directed by Naruto. Advertisement. Seeing that Neji also nodded, Tien immediately said, I am willing to join Mr. Naruto's training camp, accept your training and guidance, please teach me various things. Naruto nodded, but he always felt that there was something wrong with what he said every day. It seemed too dirty. It must be because he had a lot of experience and thought too much. Tien looked up at Neji and Sasuke again, couldn't help but hold Naruto, and asked. By the way, I'm really curious, how Neji and Sasuke can dress up so beautifully, I'm a little jealous when I see their beauty now. Really, originally, I was also a little girl in school, very popular with boys. As a result, as soon as Neji and Sasuke's women's clothing photo book came out, the boys were all talking about them. I really didn't expect that when the boys became flirtatious, they would like to dress up beautifully, so we girls have nothing to do with it. Quote. Neji, Sasuke, Naruto said lightly. I helped them both dress up. Ah, Tien's mouth suddenly opened in surprise. At the same time, Rain Shinobi Village. Brother Itachi, I finally completed the task and can go back to the headquarters. Loquat Shazang patted the Itachi who was still in a daze, and said. Itachi, what are you thinking? Rain Shinobi Village is here. Itachi immediately shook his head and said, I'm not thinking about my brother Sasuke. I didn't say you missed your brother Sasuke, huh? Loquat Shazang couldn't help complaining, then rushed to the roadside shop as if he had discovered something. Konoha Shinsei Girl Idol photo album is on sale now. Could it be that during the time I was performing the task, Xingming Entertainment signed a new idol in Konoha? Damn it, looks like I missed the press conference. With that said, he rushed into the store. Photo album. Uchiha Itachi glanced up at the promotional banner hanging above the store and shook his head disdainfully. Tenzang is really interested in such dirty things. Although he is younger than Pippa Shazang, he is in the youthful period that is easy to miss. But Itachi knew that he was burdened with too many things, and he had no time to pay attention to women. Besides, how can a younger brother Sasuke be as fun as a woman? Bah, so cute. I don't know what Sasuke is doing in Konoha now. 950 presumably is trying to kill me, and he is working hard at the ninja school to learn cultural lessons and ninjutsu to improve his strength. Sharingan's upgrade requires huge fluctuations in emotions, and the effect of hatred is undoubtedly the greatest. In order to help his younger brother upgrade Sharingan as soon as possible and improve his strength, Itachi did not hesitate to deceive Sasuke, making him misunderstand and make him hate himself. This is Brokan Itachi's brotherly love. Itachi was thinking. Pippa Juzo came out of the shop cursing. Damn it, the latest photo book was sold out in the morning. The only one left is the first volume of photo book of cold, noble and beautiful girl Seiko. But the pictures in this book are also very good. Itachi, would you like to take a look? This atlas has excellent pictures, various uniforms, and cool girls. After finishing the task, take a look and relax. To be honest, if given the chance, I would like to take such a beautiful girl back as my wife. Itachi, I'm not talking about you, you have a paralyzed face all day long, but no girl likes it. Quote. With that said, Pippa Juzang opened the photo book and handed it to Itachi. Hearing this, Itachi coldly glanced at Loquat Tenzang. Gao Leng's eyes seemed to say, take it away. Who would look at that kind of thing except you? After speaking, he looked away, but accidentally glanced at one of the pictures. Boom. Itachi's heart seemed to be hit hard by something. Then throbbing violently, an indescribable sense of suffocation surged from my heart. Trembling and excitedly asked, quote. Who is this? 200. In order to buy Sasuke's women's clothing photo book, Itachi opened Mangekyo Sharingan. Advertisement. Seen by Itachi's cold eyes, Pippa Shazang couldn't help shivering. As a partner together, he has carried out many missions. He knows the strength of Itachi, which is far better than himself. Since Itachi wasn't interested, he didn't try to kill him anymore, and teased him with photo albums that Itachi wasn't interested in at all. But before he put away the photo book, he heard a strange sound from Itachi. It's like the cry of a small animal in puberty when it sees the opposite S**X. It was like the heartbeat of a boy in his teenage years when he saw a girl who made him fall in love at first sight. If it hadn't been for knowing that Itachi had slaughtered his entire clan, he had always been just a killer with no emotions. Even though he was pretty handsome, he exuded an aura of staying away from me. Loquat Shazang really thought that Itachi was suddenly interested in the girls in this atlas again. But Itachi's question, he still dare not answer. I remember that Hidan, one of the undead duo, made a joke and threatened his brother, and was beaten up badly later. Except for the leader, no one in Akatsuki's organization could stop Itachi from beating Hidan. He saw with his own eyes that Hidan was beaten into a fly. This is Konoha's new debut girl idol, Seiko. Although she has just debuted, she is very popular. Together with Ningzi, they are called Konoha's two major actresses. Zo, son, Itachi murmured. A nice name. I don't know what's the matter. Ever since I saw the photo of this idol, Seiko, he has been palpitating. It's like seeing a pure boy with true love. How can this be? I plan on never getting married for the rest of my life. The only one who can give him such strong feelings is his dearest brother Sasuke. But now there is a woman who can bring him the same level of feeling as his younger brother Sasuke. For Itachi, this is simply unimaginable. He thought about not looking at Zuozi's photos anymore, but he couldn't control his gaze at all. Involuntarily, his eyes glanced at the photo album that Loquat Shazang had spread out. In the photo, the heroine Seiko is wearing a pure white kimono and dark blue shorts, with a purple rope belt tied around her waist, holding a kusanagi sword in her hand. A head of long black hair is scattered behind the back like a waterfall. Underneath she was wearing two very understandable black stockings, but they didn't completely block them, leaving a pure white area. Refer to the picture given in this chapter for the specific image. Even as the ultimate Brokon maniac, Itachi did not recognize that the actor who played the beautiful girl idol Sasuke was his younger brother Sasuke. Because the god-level makeup technique mastered by Naruto comes from Xiao Beluo, a god-level makeup artist from Otherworld. The effect is too heaven-defying, but it can make the old lady into a cute loli. It's very simple to dress up an already handsome boy as a girl that his mother and brothers can't recognize. Loquat Shazang rubbed his ears, thinking that he was deaf and there was something wrong with his ears. Itachi would actually praise a girl's name. This was the first time the sun came out from the west. Could it be? Itachi is also interested in girls. No. Loquat Shazang immediately dismissed this ridiculous idea. He knew it. Itachi was the ultimate Brokon, and he couldn't do without his stupid Ododo. How could he be interested in these women? But what's going on with the weasel now? There was a faint blush on the face of the paralyzed face. He obviously turned his head away, with the determination that he would not look at it. I would not look at such dirty things. Advertisement. It can be seen that the line of sight is still very honest and looks at the photo album in his hand again and again. Loquat Shazang was dumbfounded by this. This also makes it difficult for him who originally planned to put away the photo album, whether to accept it or not. Once he made the movement to put it away, Itachi's originally warm eyes suddenly became cold. Then how dare he put it away? Alas, Itachi, you are too. If you want to see it, just tell me. If you don't talk to me, I don't dare to just assume that you want to see it, and I dare not give it to you again, lest I misunderstand you and be beaten by you. Ever since he inadvertently scanned the picture of the cold, noble and beautiful girl Seiko photo album first part, in the hands of Loquat Tenzang, his heart has been palpitating, as if he was in love. He decided not only to forcefully restrain this feeling, but to obey his heart and stretch his hand forward. Tozo, give me that photo book. Nani? Loquat Shazang was taken aback. You really want this kind of thing? I was just thinking about it before. I thought that you would never be interested in this kind of thing if you were very serious, but I didn't expect, you are such an Itachi. When Itachi heard this, the corner of his mouth twitched, his pupils changed color instantly, and Mangekyo Sharingan opened in seconds, staring at Tenzang. No road race. Just give it to me. Loquat Shazang. What's with this look of embarrassment and anger? Is this really my always cool partner Uchiha Itachi? Itachi read Sasuke's photo book from beginning to end and fell silent. This time it's a stone hammer. I thought I was born alone, but I didn't expect to meet true love. There is no doubt that the status of this beautiful girl idol named Sasuke in his heart has risen to the same level as that of his younger brother Sasuke. From today onwards, besides his younger brother, besides his mother, he has another loved one, and that is this beautiful girl named Zuozi. Backquote. Itachi, if you want it, I will give you this book. Quote. Loquat Shazang said carefully, who wants your photo book? Hearing this, Itachi immediately stuffed the photo book back into Loquat Tenzang's hands. If I want, you can buy it yourself. As he said that, he asked Loquat Shazang to go back first, and went to the store to buy a copy, planning to go back at night and enjoy it 180 times. At the same time, he learned from his boss that in fact, the second volume of the photo album of the glamorous and noble beautiful girl Seiko is also on sale, but the goods purchased today are all sold out, so they have to come tomorrow. Knowing that there is a second volume of such a good photo book, Itachi was so excited. The next day he got up early, Nuo Lihao, and rushed to the store, only to find that there was already a long queue in front of him. The otaku in front of Itachi turned his head and said to Itachi, who was wearing a hat covering his face. Hey, there is such a long line today, I guess I can't buy it again. If I knew it, I would have gone to the Land of Fire to buy it. The purchase channels of Rain Shinobi Village are still immature, and there are too few photo albums. Quote. Nani? Can't buy it. Itachi was taken aback. Knowing that there is a second volume of such a good-looking photo book, and they say it is even better than the first one, he is looking forward to it. After a hard night, without Sako's photo album to read, he was about to die. In the end, you told me that you might not be able to buy it again. How could I let that happen? Originally, I didn't want to use that kind of power on such sneaky things that shouldn't be exposed, but the situation doesn't allow it. In order to buy the second volume of Sako's photo book, Itachi immediately lifted the hat and opened Mangekyo Sharingan. 201. Itachi. What should I do if I secretly buy a notebook and the boss suspects that I am a spy? Advertisement. Master Weasel. Seeing that he was actually one of the high-level executives of Rain Shinobi Village, the otaku in front of Itachi was almost scared to pee. I didn't expect such a big shot to be interested in this kind of photo book. Get out of the way. Or don't blame me for using Tsukuyomi on you. Itachi said to everyone in line ahead of him. In order to get the second volume of Sako's photo album, Itachi waited all night, and now he can't wait any longer. The nerds in the line stepped aside in horror, and only the one at the front. Loquat Juzang was left. Weasel. Seeing Itachi actually opened Mangekyo Sharingan in order to buy a photo book, Loquat Juzo looked sluggish. The normal Itachi has cage-level combat power. Looking at so many missions, very few people can make Itachi use Mangekyo Sharingan's nirvana. Now he has to resort to Tsukuyomi in order to buy a photo book. Itachi, are you serious? Itachi blushed. Unexpectedly, the partner also came. I also saw a picture of myself abusing Mangekyo Sharingan in order to buy a photo book. This made him feel ashamed of sneaking in line to buy a notebook, only to be seen by his classmates. No road race. You also get out of the way. Itachi became angry from embarrassment, and a pair of blood-red Mangekyo Sharingan gave Loquat Tenzang a hard look. You, a 723 guy who regards women as tools, don't know what true love is at all. 3000 Tales. Boss, I want 2 copies of Konoha's new idol Sako's photo book volume 2. Okay. The store owner was startled when he saw that the high-level executives of Ninja Village had come to visit, and quickly took out 2 copies. Seeing Itachi bought 2 copies, Pippa Shazang was very happy, thinking it was for him, but he didn't expect Itachi to have a fierce look in his mouth and eyes, and he was still very good to his partner. Thank you, Itachi. As he said that, he reached out to get the photo book in Itachi's hand. Itachi raised his other hand to block it, while the red-eyed wolf stared. You, what are you going to do? Loquat Shazang was very embarrassed. Don't tell me you bought 2 copies and gave me 1. Itachi shook his head immediately. Of course not. Mine, it's all mine. Itachi didn't know what to say. This kind of thing can also be given to others casually. To put it bluntly, would you give your future wife's photo book to other men? Who knows what kind of mess this guy Tozo will do with his future wife's photo album at night? Loquat Shazang looked puzzled. But why do you buy 2 copies? Need to say, Itachi said with a mocking expression that you don't even know this, and then said naturally. Of course one is for appreciation and one is for collection. When Loquat Shazang heard the words, he seemed to remember something, and hurriedly said. Oh, this, I've heard that some serious nerds will buy 3 copies, 1 for use, 1 for collection, and 1 for missionary work. You can also buy another 1 for missionary use. Like, pass it on to me, you know. As he spoke, Loquat Shazang winked at Itachi. Let me buy another copy of my wife's book preaching. Itachi was so angry that he opened Zuo Nengu in seconds, and sent the Loquat Shazang flying. Just as he was about to take the photo book in his arms home and enjoy it slowly, the masked man actually appeared in front of him with Pain, the leader of the Akatsuki organization. Advertisement. Uchiha Itachi, I didn't expect you, Leng Jun, to betray the team. Hand over the things in your arms, swear never to betray, and we can still forgive you. The first member of Naruto's Akatsuki undercover chat group Uchiha Itachi. What the hell? I just bought a photo book. What organization did I betray? Don't talk nonsense. Time goes back to not long ago. A secret place in Rain Shinobi Village. Tendo Pain, Masked Obito, and Black Zetsu are discussing something important. Madara, said Tendo Pain, looking at Obito, I suspect that Uchiha Itachi you brought as a spy for Konoha. The masked man Obito is a little dissatisfied. Don't talk nonsense. What proof do you have? Evidence. I don't have it yet, but I have discovered the anomaly of Uchiha Itachi. AECD, Nagato shook his head while controlling Tiandao Pain, and continued. I have always been suspicious of Konoha's people. Since Uchiha Itachi joined the Akatsuki organization, I have sent people to monitor him. He hadn't had any problems before. After he returned to the Rain Shinobi village residence yesterday, I arranged for Black Zetsu to monitor him again. But when he came back yesterday, his expression was obviously wrong, and he was out of his mind all night. According to Ju's report, Itachi didn't sleep at night. Instead, he hid under the blanket with a flashlight, secretly looking at something, and making strange noises from time to time. This is so abnormal. What has he been doing that is shameful? He has been secretly conveying news to Konoha without telling us. Hearing Nagato's words, Obito couldn't help frowning. Could it be that Itachi lied to me, but he still has Konoha and others in his heart? No, I know this, Itachi can't forget Konoha and his younger brother at all, and I just used this to trick him into becoming our Akatsuki organization's combat force to catch tailed beasts. However, I am curious about what Itachi is doing secretly. Obito thought for a while and said, I don't think Itachi could be Konoha's spy, after all Konoha forced him to slaughter his own clan, he can't go back. Moreover, even if he is Konoha's spy, as long as he is still a member of Akatsuki and performs missions for us, then it doesn't matter, at most, don't disclose our core secrets to Itachi. But since you suspect Itachi, let's investigate and see what shameful things Itachi is doing in private. Quote. Tiandao Pain nodded, I've sent a White Zetsu clone to follow him. Not only did he not sleep last night, he got up at dawn today, dressed up in disguise, and then sneaked to a shop in the village. I suspect that there may be Konoha's spies in this store, who are having an affair with Itachi. Quote. As he spoke, he turned his head to look at Ju. You can contact your avatar to see what Itachi is doing now. Ju sensed for a moment, and then said, I don't know what happened, but Uchiha Itachi actually opened Mangekyo Sharingan. Hey, wait, Loquat Tenzang is also in the shop, he was found. He's going to fight Loquat Tenzang. Nagato and Obito couldn't help but sync when they heard this. Could it be that Loquat Tenzo smashed the screen of Uchiha Itachi and Konoha Shinobi's joint, and will be silenced by Uchiha Itachi? Hateful. Obito hurriedly drove Kamui and teleported to the store with Tiandao Pain. After all, if Itachi really rebelled, he can't beat him alone. They just disappeared, desperately. Wait a minute, I'm not finished yet. The shameful thing that Uchiha Itachi was discovered by Loquat Juzo seems to be just buying a photo book. 202. Itachi vs. Pain. Itachi joins the undercover chat group organized by Akatsuki, and likes to mention an undercover friend Black Zetsu. Advertisement. Seeing that Uchiha Itachi still had an expression of ignorance about what you were talking about, Pain got angry. It's all up to now, are you still pretending? We already know the dark secret you've been hiding. Itachi was even more puzzled. Could it be that the leader of the Akatsuki organization discovered the secret that I am Konoha's undercover? No, it's impossible. I contacted Naruto through the Mind Wave chat group he built, and there is absolutely no possibility of exposure. Then he looked affirmative. What did he find? Besides being Konoha's undercover agent, what other shady secrets can I have? What the hell are you talking about? Why can't I understand what you're saying? If you're trying to test me, it's too boring. I, genocide, Uchiha Itachi, have done that and are doomed never to go back. I will not betray the organization. Shut up, Pain said angrily. Still quibbling. Who doesn't know? You Uchiha Itachi mouth, deceitful ghost, whoever believes in you is an idiot. Since you joined the Akatsuki organization, I have been sending White Zetsu clone to monitor you. After you came back yesterday, I finally found out that you have a problem. If you haven't rebelled, then tell me what you were doing sneakily under the covers yesterday. If you say it, if you hand over what you are holding now, show it to me, and let me confirm that it is not information about our Akatsuki organization, I will believe that you have not betrayed. Send White Zetsu to spy on me. Itachi couldn't help being taken aback. White Zetsu is an investigator of the Akatsuki organization, and even he can hardly see the concealment and change technique. Unexpectedly, I have been under his surveillance all this time. Fortunately, after Naruto improved the chat group, he can use his mind to add him. The only downside is that when chatting with Naruto in the online chat group, it seems to the outside world that he is in a daze. But this is not a big deal. When Mindwave connects to the chat group, it's best to choose it when you are sleeping. And besides joining the Naruto team chat group created by Naruto in the Land of Wind a few years ago. Not long after joining the Shao organization, Naruto also pulled him into the second chat group, called the Shao organization Undercover Chat Skirt. In addition to him, the members also have Black Zetsu. In Naruto's regular connection to exchange information, he learned from Black Zetsu that the news that he was an undercover agent has not been exposed. How long has it been since Naruto, the group leader of the Psychic Command Tower, has never contacted them, so how could it be exposed suddenly? The boss must be visiting me. As soon as he heard this sentence, Itachi thought a lot in his mind, but the next words made Itachi's face change drastically. Nani, you also found out that I was sneaking under the covers last night to look at Sako's photo album. This. Itachi's face was as cold as winter, and 2 red clouds suddenly appeared on his face. Furious, he opened Mangekyo Sharingan in seconds. Damn it, you actually peeped at me and asked me to hand over my things, which is impossible. If you don't believe it, then fight. Shenluo Tianzheng. Seeing that Uchiha Itachi was still stubbornly ignoring Uchiha Itachi, Tiandao Pain was so angry that he tried to resist. Obito was helpless. The Itachi he personally brought back from Konoha is one of the best in the Akatsuki organization, except for the leader Pain. He is one of the best tools for catching tailed beasts in the future, but now he has a big fight with Nagato's puppet of heaven. This thing really gave him a big headache. Itachi, since you said you didn't betray, then the thing in your arms must not be information from our Akatsuki organization. Advertisement. No. Itachi stared at Amaterasu, and said quickly. Obito was overjoyed, and hurriedly persuaded. In this case, why don't you show us the things in your arms, so that everyone's class meeting can be dismissed? Show everyone Sako's photo album, so that everyone can misunderstand that I am also a seductive person like Loquat Juzang. Maybe you will all laugh and say that some people usually pretend to be serious and ruthless killers without emotions, but they secretly line up to buy photo albums of beautiful girls and read them under the covers. Isn't this a public execution? I don't, Itachi said anxiously, blushing. Even if you kill me, I won't show you Sako's photo book. Itachi at the peak of cage level and the super cage level other Tiandao Pain opened up one after another, and the whole Rain Shinobi village was filled with a nuclear level atmosphere. It was about to be wiped out by the two's big moves and disappeared on the ninja world map. Conan flashed, and angrily said, you two, go out and fight, or this Rain Shinobi village will be gone soon. It's all my fault. Stop fighting because of me. Loquat Juzo, who just bought a photo book, ran over and shouted at Itachi and Tiandao Pain. If it weren't for the photo book of Itachi Amway's beautiful girl idol Seiko yesterday, what happened today would not have happened. When Uchiha Itachi and Nagato heard this, their faces turned black, and they glanced coldly at Loquat Juzo. 0. Ask for flowers. What are you talking nonsense about? Who fought for you? Think of you as Conan. Loquat Shazang was a little terrified of being stared at by the two masters who crushed him, so he hurriedly explained to Pain. You really misunderstood. In fact, Itachi has something to hide. He has reasons for not handing it over, so don't force him anymore. In fact, shut up. Itachi gave him a sharp look. Tenzang, you dare to tell me about me buying a photo book? I want you to look good later. Knowing that Loquat Juzo seemed to know Itachi's secret, but still defended him, Nagato became even angrier, thinking that this guy had also betrayed. He immediately recruited the other 5 Heavenly Dao, assembled Pain 6 Paths, and fought with Loquat Tenzang. 0. Mangekyo Itachi fights Pen 6 Paths, alarming the other Akatsuki members who are still in Rain Shinobi village. Hidan. What's wrong? Okay. Why did Itachi fight with the leader? Kakuzu. I heard that Uchiha Itachi collected the secrets of the Akatsuki organization and planned to hand them over to Konoha Shinobi at the store, but was caught by the leader. D. Rada. Really? Itachi is Konoha undercover. Didn't he destroy the Uchiha clan and become another Konoha S-class rebel after Orochimaru? When I was isolated by Iwagakure, he tricked me into the organization, but he turned out to be an undercover agent. This is not art at all. Scorpion. Who knows? Without Naruto's infinite chakra plug-in, the lack of blue Itachi is still defeated in the end. In addition to Naruto, Pen 6 Paths, who is currently the ceiling level in the ninja world, is finally accepted. But this battle confirmed his status as the second master of the Akatsuki organization. Tiandao Pain took out the things that were tightly hidden in the arms of the red-faced Itachi. Let me see, what information do you want to send back to Konoha? Tiandao Pain opened the wrapped paper, revealing the cover with a cute and beautiful girl. The title is, Konoha Bashoujo Idol Seiko Photo Book Volume 2. What is this? Is the information hidden here? Tiandao Pain turned to the first page. A beautiful black-haired girl in a priestess costume. Caption. Today is also a day full of energy. Listen to the director's words and work hard today. Nicole. Nagato, the controller behind Pain. What the hell? It was nothing like what I expected. 203. Leader Pain, Uchiha Itachi borrowed hundreds of millions to run away. Went to buy a book. Advertisement. Obito, who leaned over to take a look. Forehead. It always felt like something was wrong with the whole thing. I remember that before I took Pain away, I definitely seemed to have something to say. Pen, is there really some misunderstanding in this? Obito said somewhat uncertainly. Nagato didn't believe it, he shook his head and said. Uchiha Itachi used to be Konoha's Anbu ninja, he must have hidden information about the Akatsuki organization in this atlas. I'll take another look and I'll be sure to find out what's wrong. As he spoke, he flipped through the pages one by one and looked at them carefully. Seeing that Pain opened the photo album that he hadn't opened to read, and looked at it seriously, Itachi looked ashamed. The photo album that touched my wife, you are dead. I can't beat you who has a Rinnegan on the wall, but I'll turn around and I'll find Master Naruto to kill you. Huh. Tiandao Pain suddenly gave a sound of surprise. Obito hurriedly asked. Did you find something? No, it is, well, I don't even know what to say. Tiandao Pain pointed to the second volume of Sako's photo album. Look at this page. Obito looked through the one eye on the mask, and the corner of his mouth twitched. It turned out that the beautiful girl named Zuozi in the atlas was actually wearing a black robe and Hongyun uniform from the Akatsuki organization. Picture caption. Today the director sent a new uniform, which is said to be the uniform of Shao Organization, the top mysterious organization in the ninja world. Do you think Seiko looks good in it? It's pretty. Obito commented honestly. To be honest, when he sees this girl, he always has a kind of intimacy from his compatriots, and he can't help feeling a little good. Nagato. Uchiha Madara, are you serious? How old are you and how old is Seiko, so show some face. Leader, let me see if there is any information hidden inside. The Akatsuki organization is the oldest and most experienced. It is said that Kakuzu, who once threw a shuriken to fight the first generation 800 miles away, came up and said. Nagato also finished reading at this time, but he still found nothing except pages of beautiful pictures with cute or glamorous and noble styles, so he handed it over to Kakuzu. In terms of resourcefulness alone, Kakuzu is enough to rank among the top 3 in the Akatsuki organization. Kakuzu looked at it for a long time, combined various signs, made bold assumptions, carefully analyzed and reasoned, and finally came to the most rigorous conclusion. This is a photo book W. Nagato Pain. So, I misunderstood Itachi. He quickly controlled the other 6 paths puppets to release Itachi. After learning the truth, Obito couldn't help laughing and said, it turned out to be a misunderstanding. Itachi came here to buy a photo book, and he hid his identity because of embarrassment. I'm starting to be interested in girls. It seems that this kid Itachi has grown up. As the senior of the Uchiha clan, he has a sense of comfort in seeing the growth of the younger generation. Quote. Itachi hesitated to speak, but finally didn't know what to say. Refute. What is his rebuttal? Because what the masked man said is indeed true. Advertisement. He really fell in love with this beautiful girl idol named Seiko. In him, I felt a special feeling no less than that of my younger brother Sasuke. This is not love, what else can it be? Now that the misunderstanding was cleared up, and this battle also established Uchiha Itachi's status as the second master of Akatsuki's organization, all the members went back to their homes. Itachi returned home, washed his hands, scented himself, then carefully opened the second volume of Sako's photo album, and began to admire it with excitement. Knowing that Seiko is in a PK with Ningzi, another new idol of Konoha, who has better sales. Itachi immediately took out his savings over the years, and borrowed a lot of money from Pippa Juzang and many other members, and then rushed to the Land of Fire to buy the second volume of Sako's photo album, supporting idols with practical actions. Nani, Uchiha Itachi borrowed money from you, then ran away with the money, and now you are in the Land of Fire. Pain Nagato was taken aback by the news of the Weasel Run. I knew this guy must be a traitor. He must be planning to cheat a wave of money from the organization, and then go back to his natal family, Konoha. Hey, don't be so sure. Obito refused to comply, and hurriedly said. Isn't it a misunderstanding before? Itachi always has something urgent to investigate beforehand. Tiandao Pain glanced at Obito, but didn't speak. At this time, the Akatsuki organization had split into 2 factions. Collect tailed beasts, conquer the world, and create the Nagato faction of nuclear peace. And the Obito faction that collects tail beasts, synthesizes 10 tails, and uses super large illusion infinite Tsukuyomi to plunge the world into a dream and achieve eternal peace. Although Obito is behind the scenes, the Akatsuki organization is now dominated by the Nagato faction in terms of combat effectiveness and personnel. Obito sent only his descendant Uchiha Itachi from Konoha, Kisame who came as Uchiha Madara, and Black Zetsu, the will of Uchiha Madara behind him. The rest are basically sent by Nagato, following the words of the leader Nagato Pain. But they don't know that there is a third faction hidden in the Akatsuki organization, called the Naruto faction. There are currently only 2 members, Black Zetsu and Itachi, but on the surface they are all members of the Obito faction. If one day he knew the truth, Joshi would cry. Backquote. White Zetsu, please send your clone to investigate. White Zetsu said. From the moment I found out that Uchiha Itachi was running away, I have sent a clone to follow up, and now I have obtained information. You may not believe it, Itachi ran away to the Fire Country without saying a word, it is really not a traitor organization. Quote. Then what did he do? Borrowed money, ran away without saying hello, but don't doubt it. Is it so easy for him to earn our money? Kakuzu said viciously. He went to buy Konoha Bashojo Idol's photo book. White Zetsu said, but he still had an expression of disbelief on his face, and continued. You should have seen it before. It is mentioned in the second volume of Sako's photo book that Seiko is competing with Konoha's new idol, Ningzi, who has just debuted. Whose photo book sells better? I don't know where Itachi learned that the sales of Sako's photo album are at a disadvantage, and there is only 1 day left, so there is no way to make a comeback. So in order to support his idol, he borrowed money to go to the Land of Fire and bought tens of thousands of photo books in one go. Quote. Everyone present at Akatsuki organized. I thought Itachi was an emotionless killer, but I didn't expect that once he fell in love, he would be so crazy with his tongue. I borrowed hundreds of millions of money, I don't know how many S-level tasks I have to do to earn it back, and the result is to let my favorite idol win the game. Is this still the wise and mature Uchiha Itachi? This is simply a second fool. Pain, Obito, Kakuzu and others looked at each other, all speechless. It's said that being in love makes people stupid. It's true. Fortunately, I've never been in love. Kakuzu, the ultimate single dog of more than 80 years, said happily. 204. Itachi. Forgive me Sasuke, this is the last time. Besides, the photo album is pretty good. Advertisement. Konoha. 7 days are up. The sales results for both of you are out, Naruto said. I must have won. Neji said confidently, after 6 days of statistics, I have nearly 10,000 more copies than Sasuke. That's not necessarily the case, in case I counterattack on the last day. Although he was unwilling to admit defeat at all, Sasuke spoke in a low voice and had no confidence at all. The result surprised me. Naruto looked at the two, and reported the final data. Sasuke's photobook sold 30,000 more copies than Neji's. Sasuke looked surprised. Nani? Neji looked in disbelief. How is this possible? Mr. Naruto, what is going on? Naruto said. Because just yesterday, a local tyrant swept over many distribution outlets in the Land of Fire and bought 50,000 copies of Sasuke's photobook in one go. Be happy, Seiko, there are big dog fans who like you so much. How could this be? Neji looked desperate. Why don't rich people like me? Sasuke snorted proudly. I don't even look at who you are comparing with. Do you think everyone is as superficial as you and likes big breasts? So, I win. Now Naruto, you can teach me how to quickly level up the Sharingan, and then I'll have enough power to kill that man. Don't you want to know which local tyrant supports you so much? Naruto laughed. 470 people can spend hundreds of millions of taels for you at once, which is worth the head money of a Shichibukai. Of course, Naruto already knew who the rumored rich local tycoon was with hundreds of millions of taels of silver bills, who swept through large bookstores and shops in the Land of Fire, and bought 50,000 copies of the second volume of Sako's photobook. When he first learned from Black Zetsu that Itachi had a fight with Pain because of buying a photobook of his younger brother's children's costumes, Naruto thought it was too funny and interesting. Unexpectedly, Itachi actually regarded the intimacy that he saw from Sasuke's female identity as Sasuke as love at first sight, which was simply too funny. Therefore, Itachi not only didn't recognize Konoha's beautiful girl idol Seiko, who became popular when she first debuted, but was played by his younger brother, and even borrowed money from Akatsuki's organization to support the idol. Knowing that the sales volume of the second volume of Ningxi's photo album was overtaken by the second volume of Sako's photo album, Itachi was very satisfied with the result. It was a great pleasure for Naruto from beginning to end. Now Naruto really wants to see with his own eyes what kind of expression Itachi will show when he finds out that the beautiful girl idol Sasuke he regards as his true love is his younger brother Sasuke. Therefore, he did not contact Itachi through the chat group to tell him the truth, but asked Itachi to take time to visit Konoha. Thinking of Itachi knowing the truth, a new scene of Itachi's confrontation AEAD can't help appearing in Naruto's mind. The dying Itachi lightly poked Sasuke's forehead and said weakly, "Forgive me Sasuke, this is the last time." But in the end, he persisted and came up with another sentence. In addition, your photo album is very good. That must have been a show and a lot of fun. Sasuke was happy, but he was taken aback when he heard this. That's right, he won the sales duel because of the local tyrants. Otherwise, the gap between him and Neji will only widen. Which local tyrant is it? We must thank him once. Sasuke said gratefully. It is worthy of his gratitude to help improve the strength, and then have the ability to kill that man. Naruto held back his smile, and said lightly, this is a customer who does not want to be named. And in fact, he is not considered rich, most of the money he bought your photo album was borrowed. Alas, I owe hundreds of millions in debt when I am only a teenager. Idols are harmful. Quote. Nani? Sasuke was dumbfounded. Advertisement. He borrowed all his money. In order for me to win, he actually owed hundreds of millions. How should I repay him for this kindness? It's very simple. Naruto patted Sasuke on the shoulder and said, I've already arranged that your fanatic fan will come to Konoha soon. When you arrive, you will dress up beautifully in women's clothing, and entertain others well. As for the debt of hundreds of millions, it is not a big deal for this person. He is very strong, and he earned back dozens of S-level missions. Quote. Thinking that Sasuke, who disguised himself as a beautiful girl, saw that the benefactor he was going to entertain was the man he wanted to kill the most, his own brother Uchiha Itachi. Naruto was looking forward to what expression Sasuke would show at that time. Work hard, you too, please enjoy me to your heart's content. Hearing this, Sasuke made a secret decision. From now on, he must learn the skills of girls pretending to be cute, and try to prevent the benefactor from finding out that he is a boy. Cause some damages. Seeing Neji with a disappointed face, Naruto stepped forward and patted his head, comforting him. Neji, although you failed, but since you joined my Naruto training camp, of course I will help you become stronger. As long as you provide the materials, I can synthesize super god props for you. But that will cost you pain. Quote. He's already planning to start synthesizing a giant Tenseigan with materials that are already available, just using Neji's white eyes. Anyway, he possesses the blood-replenishing magical technique of activating blood, so if he pokes out his eyes, he can grow them back with a shot of activating blood. This has been tested on Shisui and Uchiha Fugaku. Now in his eye inventory, he has a dozen of Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan, a dozen of Uchiha Fugaku's Mangekyo Sharingan, and an uncountable number of common Koyu Sharingan. He has transplanted an eye of Shisui, an eye of Fugaku, and an arm of a normal Sharingan respectively to the servant Danzo. And I have a lot of Sharingan, use it as you like, it's enough. It can be said that the strength of the double Mangekyo Sharingan Danzo has surpassed him when he was killed by Mangekyo Sasuke in the original book. Working under my Naruto, without a cage-level peak, do you have the face to face others? Danzo not only added the Sharingan arm equipment that he had in the original plot, but also strengthened it. In addition, he also owns the most advanced scientific ninja at the Naruto Scientific Ninja Research Center. Built-in thousands of ninjutsu of various types, the top version of scientific ninjutsu wrist guards that can be cast instantly without seals. With this scientific ninja wrist guard, the 3 built-in S-level ninjutsu can be instantly displayed for you. A top-equipped scientific ninjutsu shield that can absorb all physical and energy attacks below S-level ninjutsu. The scientific ninja goggles made using remote sensing imaging technology can block the pupil technique. The belt with the built-in illusion sensor can automatically needle the wearer after the illusion, injecting chakra to crack it. There are actually different levels of Super Ninja helmets with Wagudama Sharingan, Fugaku Mangekyo Sharingan, and Shisui Mangekyo Sharingan installed. But Danzo with the Sharingan Hashirama Cell Unicorn arm is not needed. Equipped with a top-equipped scientific ninja gear and a god outfit Mangekyo Sharingan Hashirama Cell Unicorn arm, Danzo's strength is undoubtedly the peak of cage level, which is close to Chaoying. It can be said that Konoha is the strongest besides Naruto, Minato and 8-Gate Guy. Make a third generation, just like playing. Even if Jiraiya opens Sage Mode, it is not necessarily Danzo's opponent. You know, the strength of Danzo who didn't have Mangekyo Sharingan in the first place is just as good as cage level. But even so, being Naruto's lackey is not strong enough. But Naruto accepts the dog legs and doesn't care how strong you are. Anyway, no matter how strong you are not as strong as my shadow clone. What he needs is Danzo's status and resourcefulness, and he can do many things for him secretly, otherwise he would have killed him early. 205. Synthesize a huge Tenseigan. Ladies, Neji has 2 extra balls. Advertisement. The price of pain. There was ecstasy on Neji's face. If he can become stronger just by being hurt, he will endure no matter how great the pain is. He no longer wanted to watch his father being forced to commit suicide because his strength was too weak. He wants to become stronger, and then protect the 2 cousins Hinata and Hanabi, and protect his family. For this reason, he doesn't care whether it's women's clothing or pain. Come on, Naruto-sensei, don't take pity on me. Me to your heart's content. As long as you can help me become stronger. Neji looked at Ren expectantly. He thought Naruto would give him even more brutal training. You sure? Naruto asked again. It will hurt. I'm sure. Neji affirmed. How about I give you anesthesia? Naruto seemed to have seen the scene where Neji's eyes were gouged out and howled in pain. No. Neji shook his head. Joke. How can there be anesthesia during training? He has watched Shaoli's training, so if he can bear the pain, so can I. All right. Naruto had no choice but to look up, with 2 supercilious eyes in his hand. Ah, Neji was hit hard suddenly, and couldn't help but exclaimed. The shock in my heart is far better than the pain in my body. What's the situation? My proud white eyes, gone. I'm that blind. Not only him, Sasuke and Tiantian who were curious about how Naruto could help Neji become stronger were also completely dumbfounded. Naruto poached Neji's white eyes. Sasuke's heart trembled. Could it be that Naruto is an eye digger who likes to collect powerful eyeballs? Then, am I in danger then? He closed his eyes and stepped back. It will hurt if you say it earlier, but you still don't listen. Seeing Neji writhing in pain, Naruto shook his head and said. I have a god-level medical ninjutsu, blood circulation. Neji, who was originally in darkness, suddenly found that he could see again. He looked at the fresh white eyes that Naruto had just plucked from his eyes, then raised his hand to touch his own eyes. My white eyes again. Sasuke, who was going to turn his head and run away, couldn't help but stare at Neji's newborn eyes. The 3 Xiaoqiang who saw Naruto's blood-replenishing magical skill and blood-activating technique for the first time were all dumbfounded. I'm going to use your white eyes, Neji, to synthesize a divine outfit called the Giant Tenseigan. Once equipped with a huge Tenseigan, Neji, your combat power can easily rise to cage level. Tenseigan's configuration is also at the pain level if it is fully utilized. Quote. Naruto said lightly. In that case, it is estimated that among the group of wall hangings that I helped to open, it can also be ranked in the top 3. Currently he brings out the wall hangings. Sand Shinobi has perfect one-tail Jinchuriki Gaara, Bumblebee puppet makes Konkuro. In Iwagakure, there is Dorada who developed the detonating clay Bishojo doll technique by combining the girl-changing technique. Advertisement. In Kirigakure there are 2 disciples Kimimaro and 3 disciples Bai. When Konoha was 8 years old, he possessed Mangekyo Sharingan and developed 3 Nirvana skills. Now Nozo Sasu can almost drive Itachi to the ultimate state. Kakashi, who started to develop Obito Mangekyo Sharingan's Kamui series Nirvana with his own tutoring several years ago. Under the guidance of my mother, I learned the various sealing techniques of the Uzumaki family, and then I opened and tutored them. I have learned multiple shadow clone techniques, and the powerful Shonglin. There is also the Uchiha spring of the Sharingan that has been upgraded to Sengoyu. And the current few small strong. Among them, Uchiha Itachi is the strongest. Whether it is the configuration of Mangekyo Sharingan or Itachi's own wisdom, he has become a top master. In addition, as long as he finds that there is an abnormality in his body and his pupil power is weak, he will ask Naruto to receive a shot of activating blood to replenish the consumed pupil power and life, and he no longer has to restrain the use of Mangekyo Sharingan because of fear of blindness. It can be said that the strength of Uchiha Itachi, who fully uses Mangekyo Sharingan Tsukuyomi, Amaterasu, and Sasunoha's 3 Nirvana, has stepped into the super shadow level. In terms of combat power alone, even Uchiha Shisui is no match for him. After all, Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan exclusive skill is the ultimate ninjutsu distinguished heavenly gods, while Itachi's exclusive skills are Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu, which are even more destructive. And Itachi's fighting wisdom also surpasses Shisui's, and it is enough to rank in the forefront in the entire history of the ninja world. But if Neji masters the giant Tenseigan costume, or even if he is lucky enough to use the giant Tenseigan's pupil power to upgrade his white eyes to Tenseigan, then his strength is undoubtedly at least the second Pen Nagato. However, Neji's white eyes are not as pure as Hinata Hanabi's, so it's basically impossible to open Tenseigan. Then make do with a giant Tenseigan. Giant Tenseigan. Neji asked, what is this? Naruto said with a smile. Before I talk about Tenseigan, let me talk about the topic that you will be interested in Sasuke, the evolution of Sharingan. Sasuke, do you know the evolution process of Sharingan? Hearing this, Sasuke hurriedly said, no Guyu Sharingan, single Guyu, double Guyu, triple Guyu, and then the Mangekyo Sharingan opened by that man. I am now one Tomo Sharingan. Is there a more advanced evolutionary process behind? Naruto nodded. Mangekyo Sharingan is followed by Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, which is an upgraded version. In addition to stronger pupil power, it also removes the side effect of blindness. 0. Asking for flowers. Afterwards, there is the ultimate evolution Rinnegan, which is the endpoint of the Uchiha family's Sharingan evolution to ultimate, and is also the pupil technique of the legendary Sage of Six Paths. Quote. And Tenseigan is the endpoint of the evolution of the white eyes of the Hyuga family to ultimate, and it is the top pupil technique at the same level as Rinnegan. However, Tenseigan needs to combine the chakra of the Ōtsutsuki family and the white eyes of the Hyuga family to open it. And the huge Tenseigan is a degraded version of Tenseigan synthesized from multiple high-purity white eyes, which can exert certain Tenseigan's ability. Hearing Naruto's explanation, Neji and Sasuke showed incredible expressions. I didn't expect Baian to evolve again. Unexpectedly, there is a stronger Rinnegan after Mangekyo Sharingan. Come on, Naruto, keep digging out my eyes, and then make a giant Tenseigan. By the way, how many more white eyes are needed? Neji looked up. Not many, maybe a few hundred. Naruto said lightly. Then give me anesthesia. Neji broke out in a cold sweat. Don't bother so much. Naruto raised his hand to knock Neji out, let Sasuke carry him into the room, and started to roll his eyes. After swiping a few hundred, he used 200 to synthesize 2 small fist-sized Tenseigan balls. The one-click synthesis function of the Tenseigan produced by the system is much stronger than the fusion technique mastered by the descendants of Hamura on the moon. The former is to take out the essence for fusion, and the latter is just stacked together for fusion, and its size is of course large. In addition, Naruto also used the remaining hundreds of Tenseigans to fuse a giant synthetic Tenseigan the size of a basketball, which is an external gift he intends to give to Hinata. These giant Tenseigan are all contained in metal balls, otherwise it would look too creepy. Neji, here it is. Naruto hands Neji 2 fist-sized Tenseigan balls. I've already made it. You put it around your neck and put it on your chest, and you can use these 2 divine outfits. Oh, obediently, Neji put the 2 Tenseigan metal balls of the white porcelain body around his neck, hung them on his chest, and asked. Why 2? Naruto smiled. Of course it's because the 2 look alike like that. To be honest, the 2 metal balls hanging from Neji's chest would look real if they were hidden in his clothes. Put on women's clothes, and equip 2 Tenseigan metal balls, a proper Hungarian beauty. Such a form of women's clothing is of course much stronger than the normal one. In this way, Neji's strongest transformation, the form of a women's tycoon with Tenseigan's divine costume will become. Looking at the 2 balls in front of Neji hung, looking at the strange eyes of Sasuke and Tiantian, Naruto held back his laughter and said. Neji, come and test your ability with 2 balls. 206. Transplant Mangekyo Sharingan. Sasuke makes Itachi kneel down and call dad. Advertisement. Neji obediently listened to Naruto's words, stretched out his little hand, and gently stroked one of the Tenseigan metal balls. At the same time, chakra is controlled to slowly touch the past. But as soon as the chakra in Neji's hand touched the Tenseigan metal ball, the ball trembled violently. It's moving. Naruto-sensei, my ball is moving. Neji pointed to the metal ball on his chest and said excitedly. Neji is dressed as a beautiful girl in a ballet tutu, holding the metal ball in front of her, and screaming excitedly. This made Sasuke and Tiantian next to him look dazed, not knowing what to say. Ahem. Naruto coughed lightly and said lightly. Neji, don't get excited, pay attention to your image. Hide 2 Tenseigan metal balls so they're outrageous. It would be bad if someone saw it. Yeah, Neji nodded quickly and stuffed the ball into the dance clothes, not knowing how hot his actions just now were in the eyes of others. If he was a real girl, it would be a very astringent and eye-catching scene. But everyone present knows that this beautifully dressed girl Ningzi is a pure man. A pure man holding the ball in front of him and shouting, "It's too hot." Naruto saw the Tenseigan metal ball stuffed into his clothes, and Neji in women's clothing instantly transformed into a hot big sister. The protruding curves add a bit of astringency and charm to it. Glancing at Tiantian and Sasuke who were even more confused, Naruto said again, Neji, tell me how you feel. Neji said with a look of surprise, Mr. Naruto, I can feel that there are endless chakra in this ball, almost connected with my meridians. Then a mysterious force entered my body. I try to roll my eyes. God, I feel that the detection ability and dynamic vision of my white eyes have been improved several times at once. Not only that, but I can also control the Tenseigan ball to move freely. Look, my ball is moving. They move as I want them to move. Neji was shaking and screaming excitedly. Even though he knew that this girl was actually a man, seeing the 2 spherical objects dangling in the snow-white dance clothes, Tiantian and Sasuke were blushing. Tien. Stop it, Neji. If you continue to be so shameless, I'll go home. Sasuke. Neji-senpai, you. He immediately showed a distressed look. Obviously Neji is a respectable opponent and senior who he has always wanted to catch up with and defeat, but why did he become like this now? Stop shaking. You're playing with a ball. Naruto slapped down, breaking the connection between the Tenseigan metal ball and Neji chakra. That stopped the 2 Tenseigan balls jiggling in patterns inside Neji's clothes. Try any other abilities, such as manipulating puppets, reading minds, extracting chakra, summoning stone statues, controlling gravity and repulsion, etc. Neji was having a good time playing ball, but he was a little bit aggrieved when he was stopped. But after hearing Naruto's words, he became happy again and began to continue experimenting with the Tenseigan metal ball's ability. I seem to be able to control something remotely. Neji said excitedly. Naruto pointed and said, then try to control the maiden costume that Sasuke wore before. Advertisement. Tenseigan can remotely control golems infinitely. Even if Neji only masters this ability, he can become a top puppeteer surpassing Shio and the Red Sand Scorpion. After all, Tenseigan is far better than summoning machines in controlling the number and scale of puppets. Neji nodded and shouted, get up. The Miko costume in the distance remained motionless. He didn't believe in evil, and he called again, but he still didn't move. Finally he was anxious, ran up, and shouted. The breath that was exhaled was blown onto the clothes. Finally, the corner of the priestess uniform moved slightly. But Neji was overjoyed. Did you see that? The dress moved. It moved. Move the wool. That's what you blow. The corners of Naruto's mouth twitched slightly, and he cursed. You're the worst wall hanging I've ever had. Try again if you can extract Sasuke's chakra remotely. Quote. In the end, Naruto discovered that with the help of the huge Tenseigan, in addition to greatly increasing Baian's own insight, Neji can only use the ability to control gravity and repulsion. Unlimited control of puppets, remote extraction of chakra, summoning Hamura stone statues, controlling different spaces, entering Tenseigan mode and other abilities are all incapable. Alas, it seems that Neji's upper limit is at the level of Tiandao Pain. But this is also very powerful. After all, Tiandao Pain is a super shadow master. Unlike Tiandao Pain, who can only suck in and pop out, Neji can manipulate gravity and repulsion more freely. Not only did he easily master the ability to fly, he also combined 8 trigrams palms to develop the 8 trigrams palms that fell from the sky, and the revolving heaven gravitational spiral force field that can take people to the sky. If you train for a few more days, even if Neji can't master the other abilities of the giant Tenseigan, it will be easy to rise to cage-level combat power. Seeing Sasuke envy and hate. Mr. Naruto, I obviously won this competition. I should have come first. How did you make Neji-senpai so strong first? What's the rush? I'm giving you the Uchiha clan's cheats, not just one, but a whole set as precocious. You may not believe it, but your brother is so strong at such a young age, and to a large extent I brought him up. Quote. Naruto stared, and said, now I will give you 2 870 options. The first is to gradually upgrade your 1 Tomo Sharingan to double Tomo Sharingan, 3 Tomo Sharingan, and then Mangekyo Sharingan. This will allow you to awaken your Mangekyo exclusive skills Amaterasu and Flame Control. The second is that I directly gouged out your eyes, and then transplanted a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan for you, so that your combat power can also directly increase to cage level. Regarding the choice of eyes, there are also 2. The first is your dad's eyes, the exclusive skill is remote control weapons. The other is the eyes of Uchiha Shisui, the super genius of your Uchiha family. His exclusive skill is the ultimate illusion distinguished heavenly gods, which can manipulate others at will without knowing it, and permanently and completely change people's thinking and will. The latter one is highly recommended. With distinguished heavenly gods, you can make Itachi kneel down and call you daddy. How come you have my dad's and Shisui's eyes? Sasuke looked in disbelief. Don't ask. I'm awesome if you ask. Naruto laughed. I'm not kidding you, isn't this nonsense? Of course I did the hard work. Don't you see how many rolls of eyes I get from Neji? Oh, you didn't see it, you couldn't bear to see such a cruel picture before, and ran away. Quote. Sasuke gave up thinking about how Naruto caught his dad's and Uchiha Shisui's eyes. He was silent for a moment, thought a lot, and finally said, I choose. 207. Itachi. Brother has become sister. Makoto. I remember Sasuke as a boy. Advertisement. I choose. Can I choose all? Sasuke said carefully. Both options are good, and developing my own Sharingan allows me to improve a little bit and have a higher ceiling. Although transplanting Mangekyo Sharingan allows me to directly have Kage-level strength, but because it is not the original, it may not be the opponent of the man who also has Mangekyo Sharingan. I don't want to choose, I want them all. Sasuke looked at Naruto anxiously. He also knew that his request was too much, so he just talked about it, and when Naruto scolded him for being greedy, he changed back to the second choice. Unexpectedly, Naruto replied a word lightly. Good. Naruto added. But I have one condition. Sasuke nodded repeatedly. I promise you whatever you say. A look that is completely in the shape of Naruto. Learn a ninjutsu from me first. Naruto said. Sasuke said anxiously. What are you waiting for? Teach me. Let Naruto help him develop Sharingan, transplant Mangekyo Sharingan, and learn new ninjutsu from Naruto. This is double the joy. Although I don't know what ninjutsu is, but the ninjutsu from the first genius of Konoha, Naruto-kun, how can it be bad? Seeing that Sasuke is so motivated and in a good mood, Naruto continued. This ninjutsu can be regarded as a signature ninjutsu I developed in the early days. So far, I've only taught one blonde teenager about my age. That person is smaller than your brother Uchiha 150 Itachi, and now he has become a master in Kage level. This ninjutsu is simple, as long as you devote yourself to studying it, children in ninja schools can also learn it. Speaking of power, it is enough to instantly kill top Kage level masters like 3rd generation and Jiraiya. Quote. I heard that this ninjutsu can instantly kill 3rd generation and Jiraiya. Not only Sasuke, but even Neji and Tiantian who have 2 balls have greatly increased their strength. I want to know what it is. After all, 4th Hokage is overseas, and the Kage level master most familiar to children in the village is 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Teach me, Sasuke couldn't wait to learn. That's okay, you drive Sharingan, look carefully, and try to copy it successfully. Saying that, Naruto released a shadow clone and nodded towards him. Shadow clone understood in seconds, and with a poof, it turned into a beautiful blonde girl with no clothes on. Look carefully. Naruto pointed to his shadow clone. The difficulty of this ninjutsu is not in the seal, but in the understanding of the female body, which must be realistic. As Naruto pointed, his shadow clone also obediently twisted its waist, showing its good figure to Sasuke, Neji and Tiantian, and his true self. At this time, Sasuke and Neji were dumbfounded. Who can resist driving when there is a disagreement? Tien also blushed. Mr. Naruto actually knows this kind of ninjutsu. Is he familiar with girls' bodies? Naruto-kun's figure is really good, and it's really like what I said before, once boys start flirting, it doesn't matter to us girls. Neji in women's clothes, Naruto in women's clothes, and Naruto who turned into a girl, which one is not a great beauty? I don't know how to learn this ninjutsu. Sasuke blushed and shook his head, gritted his teeth and said. Even if I learn it to meet your conditions, I will never use this ninjutsu. I, Uchiha Sasuke, will do what I say. Let me become a big sister who doesn't wear clothes. Sure enough, Naruto, your conditions are not serious at all. If you do this again, I'll go back and tell my mom. A picture could not help appearing in his mind. He was secretly practicing the art of changing girls in his room. Mom Makoto broke in suddenly, and was dumbfounded when she saw a black-haired girl with no clothes on in a hot figure. Ah, I'm sorry to bother you, goodbye. No, wait, you're Sasuke's girlfriend. Why don't you wear clothes? Don't you? At this time, he will definitely red face and explain. Mom, it's me, your little son Sasuke. Advertisement. Mom Makoto. Nani, I remember Sasuke being a boy. Then what? This is a special kind of girl changing technique. Naruto forced me to learn it, so that he would help me develop Sharingan. Mom Makoto. That's right. Tisk tisk. I have to say, Sasuke, yours is bigger than mom's. No, mom's is bigger. The thought of such a scene might happen, Sasuke's head hurts. He can be sure that as long as he learns this ninjutsu, no matter how he thinks about it, terrible things will definitely happen in the future. Do you still want me to help you become stronger and defeat your brother Uchiha Itachi? Naruto threatened AEDJ. When Sasuke heard this, he didn't know what to do, and immediately followed Naruto. Okay, I'll learn it, can't I learn it? But I repeat, even if I learn it, I will never use it. What is the shame of being a sister compared to taking revenge on that man? I teach you this technique, it's all for your own good. Naruto continued to follow the lead. This technique is a trick that surprises the weak and defeats the strong. It is stronger than 3rd generation, Jiraiya and other super waves, and it is easy to get hit. You can use the technique of changing girls to let Sannin Jiraiya be your teacher. This trick is a unique trick to deal with men, as long as it is a man, it will be effective. Think about it, when you are in a decisive battle with your brother, you suddenly perform the girl-changing technique and become a black-haired beautiful girl without clothes, which will definitely make your brother look a little distracted. As long as you seize this opportunity, you can complete the ultimate kill on your brother, so you still refuse to use it. Quote. Naruto is really not lying. The technique of changing girls is so powerful, so terrifying. Even as strong as Ōtsutsuki Kagaya, he was once fascinated by Naruto's reverse girl art beauty group during the battle, and then got hit hard. Sasuke was silent when he heard this. Naruto, what you said is so reasonable, I am speechless. All along, in order to kill that man, he vowed to pay any price. Now what Naruto said does make sense. If that man saw his younger brother suddenly turned into a younger sister, he might really panic for a moment, and might even suffer a huge mental shock, so he would have a precious opportunity to kill that man. However, he always felt that there was something wrong with killing that man in such a shameful way. Alas, forget it, it's all like this, I can't escape, I can only learn, otherwise Naruto will not let me go. Now that Naruto has this idea, even if I resist in every possible way, he will use various methods to force me to agree sooner or later, it is better to agree directly now. Sasuke took a deep breath and said, I just learned it with Sharingan. Okay, show us. Naruto laughed. Sasuke bit his lip, made seals, and suddenly turned into a black-haired and cold big sister. Naruto frowned. Sasuke, what are you doing? Why are you still wearing clothes? Do it all over again. No matter how you change in the future, you are not allowed to wear clothes in the original version of sister changing technique. Quote. What else can he do? She could only obediently listen to Naruto's words, and became a shy black-haired big sister again. Her cheeks were flushed, her hands were covering her important parts, and she was biting her lips, as if she was enduring some humiliation. It's so shameful. Seeing that Naruto took out the camera decisively and took many pictures from different angles. Sky, are you boys can play? Naruto, is that enough? Sasuke asked with a blushing face. Neji shook his head. Alas, Sasuke is about to be played badly. He doesn't seem to realize at this point that he looks a lot like a Hungarian in a ballerina tutu with 2 Tensagen metal balls tucked inside it. The overall image is not much better. 208. Unlimited sword control every day. Tensagen chakra mode for the 6 paths class. Advertisement. Every day I look at classmate Neji who is wearing a ballet tutu dress, dressed like a girl, and has 2 balls stuffed in his clothes. Looked at Sasuke, who was forced to become a shy black-haired girl with no clothes on. She couldn't help but look sluggish. It's over. These 2 school girls recognized by the ninja school, the second of the 3 major male gods of Konoha's new generation, were all played badly by Naruto, Jun. I didn't expect Naruto-kun to like to play with others so much. Thinking of the 2 boys being brought up like this, how about being a girl who discovered Naruto's secret? Thinking that Naruto might do all kinds of things to himself, every day somehow, he was not afraid at all, and even had a little expectation. Naruto didn't notice Tiantian who was covering his face and thinking about it. After taking a whole set of photos of Masako, he nodded in satisfaction. See Gui. Sasuke, I didn't expect your astringent oil talent to be so high, it's amazing. You have suddenly become such a shy and timid black-haired girl. Look at this sense of shame, fully interpreting the essence of a pure and innocent girl who is forced to do shameful things. The girl you turned into is even more attractive than the girl my shadow clone turned into. Men are totally fine with this. I don't have any astringent oil talent. Sasuke blushed with embarrassment, gritted his teeth and said. He remembered this shame. In order to become stronger and kill that man, he endured it. You don't want to force me to do more extreme things. Sasuke snorted. Since you are satisfied with the girl I have become, it's time to guide me how to develop Sharingan and help me transplant Mangekyo Sharingan. I don't choose the 2 Mangekyo Sharingan you just mentioned, I want them both. Naruto thought about it. If it's just him and Sasuke here, he will definitely force Sasuke to go a step further, to understand the body structure of women, so as to become a more realistic girl. Otherwise, for veteran drivers, I am afraid that they can see through it at a glance. As for the subjects, I will use the blonde girl transformed from Shadow Clone over there. For him, Shadow Clone is completely a tool man, a tool, completely under his control. But there is no Naruto's Shadow Clone in the original book, each with its own consciousness, and it is still not satisfied with the original body. But since Tien and Neji are still here, forget it. Naruto nodded. That's fine, I'll start hanging up for you first. Do you want to develop Sharingan first, or port Mangekyo Sharingan first? Sasuke blurted out. I transplanted the Mangekyo Sharingan first. I want to feel how powerful the Mangekyo Sharingan's pupil power is that man possesses. Advertisement. Seeing that Neji's strength is close to cage level after getting 2 Tensagen metal balls, he is envious. Naruto said, after transplanting Mangekyo Sharingan, his strength can reach cage level very quickly. Naruto nodded. The wall hanging I brought out, cage level is just a basic combat unit. There are not many cage-level combat power values. If you go out, let alone say that I helped you become stronger. I feel ashamed. Tien, you continue to practice your infinite sword-making skills. Neji, you continue to familiarize yourself with the Tenseigan metal ball, increase the control of gravitational repulsion as soon as possible, not to mention interfering with the orbit of the planet, at least the small goal is to move a mountain. After speaking, he called Sasuke to come over. For Tiantian, he gave Xingyu World Heroic Guard Palace's inherent enchantment skills, which can instantly copy, save, and use weapons that he has seen and can recognize. This is a powerful skill book he opened from a more advanced golden treasure chest, and he gave it to Tiantian because he really wanted to see that Tiantian, a rare ninja who uses hidden weapons in Hokage, can unleash swords all over the sky. As for the exhortation to Neji, Naruto also somewhat hates that iron cannot be made into steel. 2 smaller Tenseigan props were synthesized and given to Neji. As a result, he could only use the ability to control gravity and repulsion. Although the upper limit of this ability is also very strong, it is strong enough to control the orbit of the planet. But he didn't expect Neji to do this. For one thing, this is just a synthetic Tenseigan prop, and there is still a huge gap between it and the real Tenseigan. Second, Neji doesn't have pure Ōtsutsuki blood, so he can't use Tenseigan's true power at all. It is impossible to reach the level of Ōtsutsuki Tonari. But if Neji can develop other abilities of Tenseigan one after another. For example, wireless control puppet. For example, drawing chakra remotely or even absorbing ninjutsu to fight back. For example, summoning a huge Hamura stone statue that can be restored infinitely. For example, controlling a different space, setting illusion traps in it. Even if he can't reach the control of Ōtsutsuki Tonari, his strength can reach Super Cage level 0. If he is lucky enough, he can enter Tenseigan chakra mode and master the skills in this mode. Then his combat power has even stepped into the 6 paths level, and even Senju Hashirama's rebirth may not be his opponent. Because Tenseigan chakra mode is a 6 paths level opening mode at the same level as 6 paths sage mode. In this mode, you can not only control the special truth-seeking ball to attack and defend like 6 paths sage mode. You can also use the ultimate mystery of repulsion that can penetrate the moon with one blow golden wheel reincarnation explosion, and the ultimate mystery of gravity that can cut through the moon with one blow silver wheel reincarnation explosion. Even if the power is weaker and there are a few discounts, it is not a problem to blast Tiandao Pain's Shenluo Tianzheng and Universal Pull. But Naruto really didn't expect Neji to do this. In his mind, Konoha is expected to do just that, and that's him Hinata Road. The purity of her white eyes is even admired by Ōtsutsuki Sharon, and she is also called the princess with white eyes, which means that her Ōtsutsuki blood is extremely pure. If Hinata-chan obtains a synthetic Tenseigan, she will definitely be able to master more abilities, and maybe she can use the synthetic Tenseigan's pupil power to open her own real Tenseigan. That was a sub-6 paths combat power not much weaker than himself, and it could really help him. 209. The Mangekyo plugin list transplanted to Sasuke's A. Advertisement. Naruto opened the Flying Thunder God technique to bring Sasuke to the research center. Because there is a complete set of medical and research equipment here, it is convenient to transplant Mangekyo Sharingan. Ninja people don't pay much attention to hygiene. Mangekyo Sharingan are all picked out by hand, and then transplanted. They are lucky not to be infected with bacteria or infection. Since you have chosen to have them all, then I will not dig your own Sharingan. In this way, the Mangekyo Sharingan cannot be transplanted in your eye area, and you have to change it. Where do you want to transplant it? The palm, the back of the hand, on the arm, or between the eyebrows? Naruto asked Sasuke, who was looking around. Whatever, Sasuke said hastily. Several parts that Naruto said are okay, and he can accept them. Anyway, in order to obtain a powerful cheat, he doesn't care about his appearance being magically altered. Naruto chuckled. He has already figured out what to do next. After hand transplant failed, brow center transplant failed. Fail. I have no choice but to try the last place in 04. After intentionally doing several failed transplants, Naruto pointed at Sasuke's butt and said helplessly. An expression that I didn't expect to be like this. Ah, Sasuke looked confused. Do you want to transplant the Mangekyo Sharingan on my part? Repeated transplant failures have left him devastated. He really longs for a successful transplant and gain cage-level fighting power. He thought he was doomed to fail the transplantation, so he thought he might as well give up his own eyes and get the Mangekyo Sharingan instead. Unexpectedly, Naruto said that there is still hope, but the transplanted part is very embarrassing, it is actually his buttocks. Naruto nodded, and then continued. Shaji Bahu said. After careful inspection, I found that your part is well adapted to Mangekyo Sharingan. But the success rate of transplantation is also very low, less than 30%, do you want to try it? Sasuke hesitated to speak, how could he transplant Mangekyo Sharingan on his A? He suspects that Naruto is playing with himself, but he has no evidence. But Naruto also said that even then, the success rate is not high, or, just try. Anyway, it is basically impossible to succeed, but if it succeeds, then it will gain cage-level combat power. Thinking of this, Sasuke said to himself fiercely in his heart. Uchiha Sasuke, didn't you keep saying that in order to gain power, kill that man, you would pay any price? Now it's just a slightly shameful thing like transplanting Mangekyo Sharingan on your A*, you can't bear it. So what do you use to defeat Uchiha Itachi? The ruthless words I uttered by myself, I have to finish it on my stomach. After convincing himself in his heart, Sasuke lay down on the operating table, pulled off his pants, and said to Naruto with a blushing face. Come on, just transplant there. After he finished speaking, he closed his eyes, with a cute appearance of letting the king do whatever he wanted. It doesn't matter if Naruto sees it all. At the same time, he also felt that something in his heart was completely broken. Naruto achieved his goal and showed a satisfied smile, then he patted Sasuke and said, Okay, you wait a moment, I will go to prepare. After speaking, he turned and left, opened the undercover chat group organized by Akatsuki, secretly contacted Black Zetsu, asked him to prepare a copy of White Zetsu, and then drove Flying Thunder God directly to pick it up. Because I suddenly thought of the fact that Hashirama's head grew on 4th Kazekage Luo Shajir, who had transplanted White Zetsu's avatar. On a whim, he planned to transplant the Hashirama cells of the White Zetsu avatar to Sasuke. I want to see if I can grow a Hashirama face on Sasuke's A. Advertisement. After a while, Naruto put away the tool and said with a smile. Congratulations, the transplant was a success. You try to control it. Nani? It actually succeeded. Sasuke looked shocked. The transplantation on the hand, the forehead and many other parts failed, but the transplantation on the shameful part succeeded 10 times. This had to make him wonder if Naruto did it on purpose. But seeing the hard sweat left on Naruto's forehead, how could Sasuke have the heart to suspect that Naruto did it on purpose? On this day, he had several surgeries. He is very relaxed, he just needs to lie down, lie still on his stomach, and he will be fine. But Naruto has been working hard to do the transplant operation for him. Several times I was so tired that I almost collapsed to the ground. How could it be possible that Naruto spent half a day, almost exhausted, just to transplant the Mangekyo Sharingan to his butt? How could he be so boring? If you still doubt him, it's too bad. Now that the transplantation is successful, it means that I have mastered 2 Mangekyo Sharingan with different abilities, and my strength has greatly increased. No matter how shameful I am, I still have to thank Naruto. Thinking of this, Sasuke said with a moved face, Naruto, thank you for helping me transplant Mangekyo Sharingan. Naruto waved his hand. Small things. Who told us to be friends? Since I promised you, I will help you transplant it. Fortunately, it succeeded, otherwise my body would really be too much to bear. A dozen hours of surgery in a row. Seeing the tiredness on Naruto's face, Sasuke was even more moved. Is this friendship? Thank you so much for your kindness. I, Sasuke, will write down this kindness. Then he started trying to control the 2 Mangekyo Sharingan in the back. He wasn't wearing any pants. Anyway, Naruto was a man, and he had already been watched over and over during the operation. Unexpectedly, he just used chakra and wanted to feel the situation of the newly transplanted 250 Fountain Sharingan. 2 bursts of scorching heat came from the buttocks, and 2 huge forces emerged at the same time. Before he could react, his body was suddenly covered with a materialized layer of chakra. Is this Sasuno? Sasuke trilled excitedly. Although it is only a primary form, only arms and ribs have changed, but it can also be used for attack, defense, protection, control and many other purposes. With the 2 opened Mangekyo Sharingan behind him, the astonishing power of the pupils continued. Sasuke can see the shape of Sasunuku on his body gradually changing, reaching the second form. Before transplanting Mangekyo Sharingan, he was just a ninja school kid. Even if the combat power is the first in the grade, it is at most at the level of Chunin. But now this Sasu is capable of the second form, but the powerful power of Kage level. The power surged from behind constantly impacted the little Sasuke's sanity. Powerful. Too strong. For a moment, he was completely intoxicated by this huge force and fell into a daze. Forehead. See the subtle expression on Sasuke's face as he enjoys the mighty chakra power erupting from his A*. Naruto only thought it was interesting, and it was not in vain that he pretended to be tired and acted with Sasuke. Then he decisively took out the camera, and took a picture of Sasuke's bare buttocks with an obsessive power and unable to extricate himself. 210. Gaara. Look, I punched Sasuke shit out. Advertisement. Hey, wait. Sasuke pulled up his pants suddenly, and said to Naruto in a crying voice. It's over. The Mangekyo Sharingan power of this transplant is very strong, but there is a very serious problem. Naruto hurriedly asked. What's the problem? Is there something strange behind you? Although he had a curious look on his face, happiness blossomed in his heart. Could it be that the regeneration ability of Hashirama cells is too strong, and a Hashirama face has grown on Sasuke's A? This is so much fun. I really want to see that funny scene. No. Sasuke shook his head, gritted his teeth, as if he was enduring something. I want to ask where is the toilet? I can't take it anymore. Over there. Naruto pointed, but his heart became more curious. What's wrong with your body? Why are you so anxious to go to the toilet? Come on, let me be happy. I want to shit. As he said that, Sasuke rushed towards the toilet. Seeing the impatient look, those who didn't know thought he was trying to throw the girl down. As soon as I use the power of the Mangekyo Sharingan on my A*, I want to shit. While it brought me unimaginable power, it also brought me a strong sense of convenience. After he finished speaking, he rushed to the toilet and sprayed wildly. PFF'd. Ha 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 ha. Naruto couldn't help it, he laughed loudly. This is too funny. I transplanted Mangekyo Sharingan to Sasuke's A*. But who would have thought that such an interesting thing would happen? Once you open Mangekyo to fight, you will feel relieved, so Sasuke will not dare to open his eyes in the future. No, in order to kill his brother Uchiha Itachi, Sasuke kept saying that he would pay any price. It's just a poop during the battle, it shouldn't be a big deal to him, he should be able to bear it. Thinking of the future when Sasuke confronts each other, the two will fight each other with Sasuno. As a result, he slapped and slapped, Sasuke couldn't help but squirted. Then Itachi was suddenly dumbfounded. What the hell? Did I beat Sasuke out of shit? Naruto really wanted to be there to see the expressions of these two brothers. Or in the Chunin exam, Sasuke vs Gaara. The eldest disciple Gaara, who has fully mastered the power of One Tail, will have the peak cage level fighting power if she transforms into the cat-eared girl form. If Sasuke wants to fight him, he must use Mangekyo Sharingan. Then, Gaara might shout, "Teacher Naruto, look quickly, I beat out the shit of Sasuke in your village." Naruto couldn't stop laughing at the thought that something like that might happen. Sasuke, are you trying to kill me? After pulling, Sasuke walked out of the toilet and said tearfully. Naruto, why is this happening? I'm strong now, and strong, really. But, I dare not use it at all. As soon as you use it, you can't help but want to poop, who dares to use it? Advertisement. Is there anything more tragic than mine in the world? Naruto held back his laughter, went up and patted Sasuke on the shoulder, and comforted him. What you need to do now is to learn how to endure the urge to defecate. If one day, you can overcome this desire to defecate, wouldn't you just be able to use the power of the two Mangekyo Sharingan on your butt? Sasuke nodded thoughtfully. What Naruto said makes sense. Next, I will find a place near the toilet and practice how to use the power of Mangekyo behind me, so that I can control not to pull it out. Although in the process, the control may fail, and then leak out, and may even spray out. But in order to fully grasp this power, I will definitely overcome these difficulties. That's fine, you go back and continue to work hard. Naruto nodded, but before you go back, let me teach you how to upgrade the Sharingan. Do you know the differences in abilities between different levels of Sharingan? As soon as he heard about the Sharingan upgrade, Sasuke's frustrated little face immediately got excited, and he said anxiously. I know this. Both single hook jade and double hook jade can give the owner dynamic vision. The difference is that Shanguyu can only see through the enemy's movements. And Shuanguyu can not only see through the enemy's movements and ninjutsu, but can even copy some physical moves. And 3 Tomo Sharingan is the highest form of ordinary Sharingan, with the highest dynamic visual response speed. Can copy more ninjutsu, and even resist some Mangekyo Sharingan's jutsu. If Mangekyo Sharingan is not transplanted, my Sharingan must be upgraded to at least Sangoyu to resist Uchiha Itachi's Tsukuyomi illusion. Otherwise, I have no chance of defeating him at all. Oh, Naruto said with a half smile, you seem to be just a unicorn now, and you don't have the ability to copy ninjutsu. But you watched my shadow clone perform the sister changing technique before, but you learned it all at once. Now you still say that your talent for changing girls is not high. Quote. Sasuke opened his mouth, but didn't know what to say. In the face of hard facts, any explanation is pale and feeble. Naruto stopped teasing him, and continued. As we all know, it takes a huge emotional swing to upgrade the Sharingan. For example, you saw your brother massacre the whole clan, even your father, in the night of the clan extermination. After suffering such a powerful stimulus, you opened Sharingan. So upgrading the Sharingan requires a huge boost. I have a hypnosis illusion that can hypnosis you, let you experience all kinds of horror scenes, and won't let you realize that it's fake. But the problem is, if you can't bear the fear of all kinds of illusions, if you go crazy. When you return to reality, your spirit will also collapse crazily. Quote. Sasuke gritted his teeth and said, in order to become stronger, this risk is nothing, I can accept it. That's fine, Naruto nodded, there's no rush for this, the top priority is to master how to control the 2 Mangekyo Sharingan on your butt as soon as possible, okay. At least control it to the point where you don't spray shit when you open your eyes and zoom in. Quote. Sasuke nodded, and went back with a complicated face. He got the Mangekyo Sharingan he had always dreamed of, and he also knew how to upgrade the Sharingan. It should be double the happiness, but why can't he laugh? After the Guy class was established, and Neji, Tiantian and Xiao Li became disciples of Might Guy, the Konoha Blue Beast. Might Guy intends to learn from his best friend, and also has a test to grab the bell, but it doesn't matter if the disciples fail. When Naruto heard the news, he immediately strengthened the training of Neji and Tiantian. Remember, the goal of the two of you is to knock out your teacher, Konoha Elite Jonin Might Guy, and then take his bell, so that you can qualify. Otherwise, when you go out in the future, don't say that you were from the Naruto training camp. Got it, Neji and Tiantian said in unison. Understood, Mr. Naruto.